Cincinnati put a red scare into Houston by winning the first 2 games of the weekend series. But the Astros came back, sweeping the last 2 games to complete a 5-2 road trip. Now Houston goes from red lakes to red birds as St. Louis flies in for 3. And all the buzz is about the big red head that makes opposing pitchers see red. It's Mark McGwire and the Cardinals against the homestanding Astros next on Fox Sports Southwest. From the Astrodome in Houston, Fox Sports presents Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Central Division champs take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Worrell along with Bill Brown. Good to have you with us as the Astros begin an 8-game homestand. The first 3 will be with the Cardinals, and that means Mark McGwire's in town. And over 25,000 people in the Dome for batting practice tonight, Bill. It was unbelievable.
He is the modern-day Babe Ruth. He's just incredible. A Pied Piper. The media follows his every move, and he takes easy swings. The ball is way over the outfield walls. The Astrodome is certainly not big enough to hold him, Bill.
Well, since they signed McGwire last year, the Cardinals are 15 games under 500, but it doesn't seem like anybody in baseball cares.
No, he is the show, and I think that could become a distraction to this Cardinal club if they don't play better, Bill.
Well, pitching has been a problem for the Cardinals. Tonight they'll go with a guy, Juan Acevedo, who was a relief pitcher. He's making a start tonight. Pete Shurik, however, has been getting a little stronger every time out.
He's now throwing a good curveball and changeup in addition to his fast coming. Limit him to about 100 pitches.
So stay with us. Excitement in the Astrodome tonight as the leading home run hitter in Major League Baseball, Mark McGwire, on a pace to hit 70 this season. Back to the Astrodome in Houston, the first of 3 between the Astros and the Cardinals. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for the Redbirds, and they'll be leading it off with Royce Clayton. Delino DeShields will be hitting McGwire, Brian Jordan, then it's Pagnozzi, Gaetti, Gant, Hunter, and Acevedo, the pitcher, will be hitting 9th. Pete Shurik looking to even his record at 4-4 tonight. He won his 3rd decision in his most recent outing at Detroit. He scattered 4 hits and an earned run over 7 innings. The defense behind Shurik will get for you in just a moment as Clayton steps into the batter's box. Well, we'll take a look at it right now. Spires, Gutierrez, Biggio, Bagwell, Clark, Alou, Bell. Osmus will be doing the catching. Here to call the play-by-play is Bill Brown.
Thanks very much, Bill. Pete Shurik versus Royce Clayton to open this game. Shurik throws, and it's strike 1 over the outside edge to Clayton. Clayton, a speedy shortstop, is 5th in the league in stolen bases. He's hitting .251, 2 long balls, and he's driven in 23. Royce has scored 40 runs. His on-base average is .328. Shurik misses away, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Clayton. One of the table setters for Mark McGwire, who bats 3rd in this order, as you saw. Cardinals are 3rd in the league in runs scored, right behind the Astros, who are 2nd. Shurik comes up and in on Clayton. It's 2-1 to Royce.
Went outside with the first couple of pitches, had him leaning a little bit, looking for that outside corner again, and then he buzzed him inside.
Clayton and DeShields to follow have both hit well against Shurik. 6 hits and 14 at-bats with a couple of RBIs for both of these top 2 hitters in the order. Shurik's upstairs, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Pete's last outing, a win at Detroit, 10-3. And in that game Wednesday night, he gave up 4 hits and 1 run in 7 innings. Didn't walk anybody, and he fanned 4. Shurik misses, and he walks the leadoff man. Clayton can hurt you with a steal. He has 16 of those in 21 tries.
I think it's something that the Astros pitchers have been able to do this season is not give up a lot of walks because they come back to haunt you. And Shurik that time did not want to walk Clayton, just maybe be a little too pumped up for this game, don't you think, Bill?
Possibly. Big crowd and a very big game for Pete Shurik. Delino DeShields is on a 14-game hitting streak. .349 his average during those 14 ball games. Bill Spires creeps in at 3rd for DeShields, and the throw goes to 1st. The Cardinals are a running club. They're 4th in the league in stolen bases. They have 51 in 77 tries, a high percentage. The Astros have allowed only 21 steals in 42 attempts, just a 50% ratio against them.
Got to keep an eye on DeShields too. He hits left-handers very well this year. He's right up there around 360.
329 overall with 2 homers. He's driven in 26. He takes ball 1. Cardinals are first in the league in walks. A lot of that because of McGuire. First meeting of the season between these two. A year ago, the Astros won the season series 9-3. And the throw goes over. It's a low throw to Bagwell. Lino DeShields had a 4-hit game against the Giants about 10 days ago. He's had some rather torrid stretches in the early season. That pitch is ball 2. It's 2-0 to Delino.
Yeah, it looks like Pete's overthrowing a little bit here early. Might be pumped up a little too much. Needs to settle down now and find that strike zone.
His career record against St. Louis: 4 wins, 3 losses, a 4.21 ERA. The Cardinals are on a 3-city road trip. They're 3-3 so far in the first 6 games. Played the White Sox and Arizona. Popped up by DeShields. It will be out of play for Ausmus, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Nice to see so many people out early for batting practice, and they got a reward. Mark McGuire hit several way out of here, Bill.
Oh, he did. He swings so easy at the ball, and it just flies out of the ballpark. Of course, he hadn't hit any cheapies this year.
Nope. 2 balls and a strike to DeShields. His batting average came back up to .295 last year after some subpar seasons. Fouls it back. 2-2. Shurik went with a slide step that time to try to neutralize Royce Clayton at first base. DeShields, now 29, was a first-round pick by Montreal in '87, traded to the Dodgers in '93 for Pedro Martinez. Cardinals signed him as a free agent prior to last year, and he responded with 58 RBIs and 11 homers to go with a .295 average for them a year ago. It's 3-2 to DeShields. Clayton might be setting sail from first base here. Shurik in each of his last 2 starts has gone 7 innings, allowing 1 earned run. He lost 3-0 here to Kansas City in his last home start on the 5th of June. Clayton, well, he drove to first, heads back early.
Got himself in a jam now. You almost have to challenge DeShields. Why? You sure don't want to pitch to McGuire with 2 runners on base.
Shields chokes up a little bit. He wheels the stick. It's a lot of ground balls through those holes in the infield. And there are holes right now with Biggio and Gutierrez at double play depth. Lino can chop down on the ball and hit to the left side and beat it out for a hit that way. Line drive to right. Base hit in front of Bell. Cardinals have a good start. 2 on, nobody out. That's a 15-game hitting streak for DeShields. The applause is for Big Red of the Big Red, Mark McGuire. Other fans are booing as McGuire settles in with 31 homers and 80 runs batted in, leading the league in both those departments. He's hitting .314. This is his first game in the Astrodome. He's leading the league in on base and slugging average, and also in total bases. Now Ausmus gives signs.
Well, the crowd thought that they were going to walk him. Did you notice Ausmus, when he stepped out from behind the plate, he put his arm out. That's usually the sign to walk a batter, but that's a sign that Ausmus has to the rest of the team, and the crowd is a little angry.
First time Shurik has faced McGuire. Although they are 2 of the investors in a stock car racing team. Here's ball 1. Oh, it's a strike.
Ooh, Dana Demuth late with the call.
That'll help Shurik. But for McGuire, who's 34 years old, 6'5", 250, it only takes 1.
Well, if he's getting that pitch, he's going to be in pretty good shape.
Pretty surprising call. Foul back.
Oh, Bill, I almost had it.
Yes, you did.
Or you almost got it.
Whoa. That was headed right back here.
That hit the monitor right in front of you.
Right in front of us. Man, it was a screamer. Even when he fouls them back, they put the fear into folks, don't they?
Man.
333 is average for the last 22 games and 15 homers with 35 runs batted in. It's 0-2 to McGuire.
You know, we've never gotten one up here before.
Runners go. Line drive, and it hooks foul into the left field corner. That's how hard McGuire hits the ball.
Hit it so hard it hooked foul.
It just jumps off his bat, and a lot of times the Cardinal broadcasters say a line drive will carry for a home run. Other times it might have so much topspin it hits off the wall, and the outfielders play so deep it's hard for him to get a double sometimes.
Well, you know, they tried to come inside on him. If you're going to come inside on this big guy, you better get it way in there.
He's right on top of the plate. He can hit a pitch away for a home run easily to right center or dead center field.
Ooh. I thought that was closer to the plate than the first pitch. See, a curveball's coming back to the plate. The fastball that was called a strike tails away from the plate. He got that call. He did not get this one. The Muse saying, I'll give you the first strike, but I won't give you the third one.
He bangs it off his leg. The target again was away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mark McGuire, first-round pick by Oakland in 1984. Traded to the Cardinals during the season, right at that July 31st deadline last year, and he did not face the Astros. They were finished with the season series when that trade was made. The only ballpark in the major leagues in which he has played and not homered is Atlanta, and he's only played 2 games there. It's 2-2 to McGuire. McGuire has homered in 11 consecutive series.
Crowd doesn't know what to do. They love the Astros. They want to see him strike out, but they also want to see a home run.
Gutierrez is playing the pull side at shortstop, way around toward third base. Fly ball. Billy Spires and Gutierrez up the left field line into foul ground, and in the bullpen, Gutierrez can't make the play.
Oh, that would have been a big out. Boy, you don't want Shorrock to have to throw another pitch to this guy if you can get him. But maybe it was hit so high that he lost it. Now he's got plenty of time to get to it. He just missed it. You know, they had a long conversation at home plate when they brought the cards out. Larry Dierker and Tony La Russa and the umpires talking about where the speakers would be and whether they would be in play. And you have to do that with McGuire in the ballpark. He can hit one of those speakers, and if you hit them fair, the ball's in play. If you hit the speakers in foul territory, it's not in play.
Runner goes early from second. There's a throw to Biggio. They've got a run down on Clayton. Billy Spires runs him back, and it's Gutierrez with the tag. They got him.
What a big pickoff. Boy, what a bonehead running play by Clayton. 1-4-5-6 if you're keeping it at home. What a great move by Shorrock, and I really can't understand with McGuire at the plate what in the heck Royce Clayton can be thinking about.
Looked like maybe he was going to break with a pitch and just took off early, and Shorrock caught him. 2 balls and 2 strikes to McGuire. 1 out now. Runner on. And the throw goes over on that runner to Shields.
Did you notice too that on the tag of Clayton, the Shields broke off first? Had Gutierrez been looking at first base, he might have had a chance with a double play.
Yeah, Delino was several feet off. You're right. Off-speed pitch, ball 3. 3-2. Brian Jordan's on deck. McGuire hit 58 homers last year between Oakland and St. Louis. They got a chance to see that the record can be achieved, although he was never really on a record pace. Now he is.
Do you challenge him, Bill?
Might as well early in the game. 3-2, 1 out. Breaking ball low, ball 4. Second walk of the inning for Shorrock. 2 men on now for Jordan, because if McGuire keeps walking, Brian Jordan at 341 gets a lot of opportunities behind him, Bill.
Yep, that's right.
Early in a game, most pitchers really would challenge. Shurik just didn't get his breaking ball over, but the mistake was low, and a pitcher can live with that.
Sure you can.
If you hang it, it'll be 2-0 in a hurry.
You know, Shurik going to try to get something, entice Jordan to hit the ball on the ground. He's hard to double up, though. He's got great speed. But at least you keep the double play in order.
Fourth best batting average at .341 in the National League. 11 homers and 42 runs batted in for Jordan. Here's ball one to Bryan. He's had 4 hits and 11 tries against Shurik with a couple of runs batted in. Bryan hit only .234 last year. Had surgery on his left wrist in September. Had a bulging disc in his back.
He's talked about maybe getting back into football, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
I think that's just a contract ploy myself. I don't think he could really be serious about that, could he?
Well, he's missed several years. He's had the back problems. He played in a system in Atlanta in which there was a lot of blitzing. Feeling was he really couldn't cover with the best of the defensive backs, and he hasn't played in so long now. Swing and a high heater, and it's, well, Shurik came right after him there. It's 2-1.
But it was still a little too far up to handle.
And he started him off low with a couple of pitches and then created a ladder now. So Jordan, who's come back strong this year, has really helped the Cardinal attack behind McGuire. 3-1. Shurik missing low quite a bit.
He's struggling, Bill. He really is overthrowing quite a bit. I was impressed in Detroit with his rhythm. He was in a good rhythm, the way he was throwing, almost in a rocking chair.
Swing, and it's 3-2 now. But he does have the good life on his fastball upstairs.
Yeah, I'm impressed. His arm strength has really improved with every start. When you talk to Vern Rule, they're encouraged by the way they brought him back, and most of all, he's encouraged right now with the strength of his arm and the way he's able to pitch.
3-2, 1 out. The Shields and McGuire, the base runners. They're not going, and it's ball 4. Loading the bases. 3 walks in the inning to go with a single by DeShields. Have Shurik in trouble. Tom Pagnozzi bats next.
Well, the only nice thing about this now is that here is a double play candidate. A chance for Shurik to get out of this inning with a ground ball. But he has already thrown 24 pitches. Now they've had him on a pitch count this year, and they've been watching him closely. And unless he can cut down on his pitches the next few innings, he's going to have trouble making 5.
Tom Pagnozzi in the number 5 spot against the lefty. Ray Langford not in the lineup. Curveball is strike 1 to Pagnozzi, the longtime Cardinal. He's 35 years old. Last year, Tom had only 50 at-bats with a torn hip flexor. .226 his current average with a homer and 6 runs batted in. 1-1 to Tom, who this year has had 93 at-bats. Again, the hip bothered him this spring, and also he had a cortisone shot on his sore right arm. Was having trouble throwing out base runners earlier this season. He's hit very well in his career against Shurik. .438 with 2 homers. Pagnozzi recently missed 4 games on this road trip with a strained right hip again. 1-1 to Tom. He whacks one foul.
Taylor.
1-2. It's a great series. The Cardinals and the Astros. The Cardinals winning it 2 years ago in the Central, and the Astros taking it last year. It set up a nice rivalry between Tony La Russa's club and Larry Dierker's team.
Really did. Some of the best games we had last year were against the Cardinals, going right down to the wire. And Astros had their number last season, but every year's a new deal.
That is ball 2. 2-2. Shurik unable to really pinpoint so far. In '96, the Cardinals won the season series decisively, 11-2. So that's been a big indicator between these two clubs the last 2 years of who's won the division.
Let's see if Pete can turn something over now, get it down in the strike zone.
Off the end of the bat, foul. Still 2-2 with Gary Gaetti on deck.
A little bit of hop. He's up to 89 miles per hour on the fastball. But he had pretty good velocity in spring training this year. He just didn't have good arm strength.
To left field. Clark back for the catch, and here's the tag. DeShields will come home to make it 1-0 on a sac fly by Pagnozzi. Clark got back, but DeShields with that very good speed waltzed home easily. The other runners holding, and it's 1-0 St. Louis.
Bill, I think Shorrock is awfully lucky it's not 3-0 right now. He hung that pitch to Pagnozzi. Pagnozzi had a pretty good swing on it. Didn't get all of it. If that's Jordan or if that's McGuire, it's 3-0. 4. Excuse me.
4-0. Yeah, that's RBI number 7 for Pagnozzi. Gary Gaetti bats next. Gaetti takes ball 1. Gary off to a rather slow start. He is 39 years old now, hitting .259 with 6 homers. 24 runs batted in for Gaetti. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Some of the playing time at third base has gone to John Mabry, who's become quite a handyman this year. Gaetti's had 185 at bats.
Good fastball hitter here.
Three balls, no strikes. Shurek unable to really hit that outside corner at the knees so far reliably on a right-handed batter. Ron Gant is on deck. That time he got it, and it's 3-1 to Gaetti. Gary well over 300 career homers. The Cardinals really do have solid offensive players. They've scored 355 runs, but they've allowed 358. Fly ball left center field. Alou heading back, and that just keeps going. Gary Gaetti smacks a 3-1 pitch for a 3-run homer, and the Cardinals lead it 4-0. That's number 7 of the year for Gaetti, giving him 27 runs batted in.
Well, it was bound to happen. As I just told you a moment ago, he's a dead fastball hitter. He's as good a fastball hitter as there is, and when you get behind, you've got to come in. Now, that pitch before was almost the same location. This time Gaetti was out there looking for it, jumped all over it. And when you don't have good command up in the major leagues of your pitching against a good hitting team like the Cardinals, you're in trouble.
4-0. Ron Gant from Victoria bats. Looks at ball 1. Gant also struggling this year. Low batting average for Ron, just above 200 at game time. Curveball comes in for a strike, and it's 1-1. Gant missed the last 8 games with tightness in his right hamstring. 203, 10 homers, 24 runs batted in for Ron. Strike makes it 1-2. He's the 7th man to bat here in the inning. The Astros made a roster change before the game tonight. Mike Hampton going on the disabled list. Reggie Harris's contract was purchased from New Orleans. He's a right-handed reliever. Foul ball back. Keeps the count at 1 and 2 strikes to Ron Gant. Ron drafted by Atlanta in the 4th round in '83. Then was released, as you'll recall, for that accident he had. Roll to Biggio, and he gets it. 3 walks in the inning really helped the Cardinals to a 4-run first on 2 hits. Gaetti, not McGuire, goes deep, and it's 4-0 Redbirds.
Cardinals taking advantage of Pete Shurek's wildness in the top of the first inning, score 4 runs. The Astros coming to the plate. So let's take a look at the starting lineup for Larry Dierker's ball club. And as usual, Craig Biggio will be right at the top of it. Then it's Bill Spires, Derek Bell, Jeff Bagwell, Moises Alou, Clark, Gutierrez, Osmus, and Shurek hitting ninth. On the mound for the Redbirds, Juan Acevedo, making his 4th start as a Cardinal, the 17th of his career. He made 20 relief appearances the Cardinals this series prior to drawing his starting assignment, his first one. And the defense behind him will have Gaetti at third, Clayton at short, DeShields at second, McGuire at first. In the outfield, Gant, Jordan, and Hunter. Tom Pagnozzi will be doing the catching.
Juan Acevedo ready to go to work against Craig Biggio. Biggio had quite a road trip. Continues to be right there at the forefront in scoring runs in Major League Baseball. 325, 10 homers, 36 RBIs, 63 runs scored, leading the majors. On the road trip, he had 12 hits and 30 at bats and scored a dozen runs in 7 games. There's the fastball of Acevedo for strike one.
And he's got a good one, Bill. He throws in the mid-90s. His control has been a problem. Averages about 4 walks per 9 innings pitched. But he's got a good heater, and if he's got a pretty good breaking ball to go with it, he can be tough.
1-1 to Biggio, playing in his 450th consecutive game. He has 86 base hits, tied for 4th best in the league. He's also up in the top 10 in total bases. Slider hit in the air to right center field. Jordan gallops over. There's one out for Acevedo. Acevedo has no career wins or losses against the Astros. He's pitched well in the few innings he's pitched here in Houston.
Third baseman.
Cardinals traded lefty reliever Rigo Beltran in late March to get him. And the plans were to have him pitch in relief, but as Bill mentioned, he did for 20 games, and then he's made the last 3 starts.
Well, with all the injuries the Cardinals have had to their starting pitching, he was the 10th starter to go for the Cardinals when they pressed him into action. So they've needed every able body they could find.
Bill Spires looks at ball 1. He's on a 3-game hitting streak, 6 hits in the last 3 games. His batting average climbing to .285 with 2 homers and 23 runs batted in.
He had some key hits on that road trip too, Bill.
Oh, he really did. 9th inning, 10th inning. Fastball is up to Spires. It's 2-0. Bill has hit .354.
They call that a strike.
We'll get the delayed call again from Dana DeMute.
It was up. You're right. It's not usually a strike over in this league.
Not normally. That one was up and out, and it's 2 balls and a strike. That one we could call without his help.
Got to keep an eye on Dana tonight.
Well, Billy Spires knows the strike zone. He's been on base 15 times in his last 31 plate appearances as the number 2 batter since the start of that last road trip. Good pitch in under his hands, makes it 2 balls and 2 strikes to Spires. Perhaps the pennant race does start now. The Cubs lost today 11-2 to Milwaukee. At the moment, they're 2.5 behind Houston. The Cardinals are 9.5 out. They really would like to start to make a move in this series. That's out of play. Still 2-2. Both these clubs are banged up, and Tony La Russa did not want to use that as an excuse before the game. He said Houston has plenty of injuries too.
Well, that's right, and Tony's not going to make excuses. But Bill, I have to agree with you in the fact that I think it starts now for the Cardinals. If they get their pitchers back at the All-Star break, this could be a big 3-game series for St. Louis if they could take at least 2 out of 3. That keeps them within striking distance of the Astros.
Spires fouls it away.
I don't think they can afford to get double digits, get real far behind, because it's going to be tough to catch Houston. But let's say they win here tonight. That would get them down to 8. Maybe if they could get out of town with it down to about 7, I think Tony would feel very good about that.
2-2 to Spires. That's in the dirt, ball 3. The fastball being timed at 96 from Acevedo. Now Tony said, hey, it's only June, and he's been to the postseason, Bill, 8 times. White Sox, Oakland, winning 1 World Series, and St. Louis. Said he's had clubs that have come from further back than this to win division titles. Spires on the ground, base hit.
What a great at bat, Bill.
It was, because he got on top of that ball.
Well, he fought off some tough pitching.
It's a 4-game hitting streak, and he hit it in the right spot, but he pulled it, and that's a sign that his reflexes have a quick trigger.
Now, this is something Larry started doing on the road trip, and that's putting either Spires or Gutierrez in that number 2 spot. You could probably amplify on that a little bit, but I think it's working well in the lineup. As long as Bell is still hitting in front of Bagwell and Bagwell can hit in that cleanup spot, I think this will be the lineup you will see as the season goes on.
Well, it's been a very good one so far. Bell has not been deterred by dropping down to the number 3 spot. He's hitting .315 with 9 homers, 50 runs batted in. He's on a 4-game hitting streak. Bell with a high chop to third. Gaetti, long throw. He won't make a throw. He had no play. Tried that fake so that maybe he could get Spires rounding second too far, but Bill's been around too long to go for that.
Well, Bill plays third base, and he knows no one can make a throw from there. That was almost short left field, and if Gaetti doesn't make this play, that's an easy double, because there's no way. You see where Gant was playing, way over in left center field. He couldn't have gone to the corner to get it. So Gaetti fields the infield hit, giving Bell a 5-game hitting streak, and now Bagwell getting the round of applause. Jeff's on a 4-game streak. He had a tremendous series in Cincinnati, going .715. His batting average at .266 with 10 homers and 29 runs batted in. Since he came back off the disabled list, he's hit .275 in 64 at-bats with 4 homers. Things are heating up for Mr. Bagwell. I feel like he saw the ball a lot better in Cincinnati. He was starting to get some good cuts at it. That's what he did against the Reds. That's not bad.
No, he was hitless in Detroit, drew a few walks, but the club hit all around him. And it's a good offense with Bagwell hitting 4th. Looks like he had something in his left eye there. There's ball 1. Jeff frequently, though, does that. He has contact lenses, and his eyes are pretty sensitive, and he's always trying to make sure that those lenses are clear and he can see, especially when a guy's throwing 96, Bill.
Yeah, you don't get blurry-eyed in that situation,
no,
do you?
Sir. 2 on and 1 out. 4-0 Redbirds.
Base hit, right field corner. Spires is home. Bell's heading for third. Ball picked up by Hunter. And Bell's coming home. The throw into second. He'll score.
Boy, that Mike Cubbage is one heck of a third base coach.
It's 4-2 as Bagwell gets his 11th double and drives in 2 to get him to 31.
You know what Cubbage does that no one else does is he holds up his signal at third base. He reads the outfielder. Now Hunter is a first baseman by trade. He doesn't play a lot of outfield. So what happened? Cubbage, with only 1 out, didn't want to take a chance of getting him thrown out at the plate. But when he sees Hunter throw it back to second, he's coming with Bell all the way. See, that was a late signal. Great job at third base by Mike Cubbage.
Derek Bell home with his 2nd run. 2-run deficit now for Houston. Moises Alou, the batter, having a sensational year. He puts 1 out of play for strike 1.
You know, Bill, it's so important when a team scores on you to come back and get some runs, and the Astros have answered back now, and that just more or less states to the Cardinals. And they want to get Acevedo's pitch count up too, because he's only gone 5 innings this year, and he's kind of like Schurik. They want to get his pitch count high and get into that St. Louis bullpen.
Alou fouls back the good fastball. It's no balls and 2 strikes to Moises. Moises 4th in the league in slugging, 9th in on base average, a .340 batting average is 5th best. 15 homers, 58 runs batted in to lead the club, and he's hit 3 homers in his last 7 games. Last year at this time, he was a .303 with 8 home runs.
How many big hits has he had already this season? He has really picked the Astros up.
0-2 on him here with Bagwell at 2nd and 1 out. Fly ball right center field. Jordan going for it. Hunter's there. Bagwell set to tag. Hunter with the catch. Bagwell moves over as the throw's cut off. Alou retired, out number 2. Bagwell to third for Dave Clark. Acevedo gave up 3 straight hits, and he got the number 5 man. Carl Everett gets a rest tonight. Clark with a start, and he had a few starts on the road trip. Larry Dierker continues to feel Clark's bat is a very important one to this ball club and give him more playing time. He's had 57 at bats so far this year. Doesn't have an RBI with a 123 average.
Well, you're looking at a good fastball pitcher too, and maybe this was just the tonic that Clark needs. He won't have to look for a lot of breaking pitches. He might get a good fastball to hit.
Clark had 2 hits and 12 at bats on the road trip. He's driven in a couple against Acevedo in his career. That's ball 1. Cardinal pitching leaves a lot to be desired. 13th best ERA in the league, 4.87. Acevedo among those standing in for the injured in the rotation. He's from Mexico. Clark looks at the ball. It's 2-0. Juan was born in Juarez, but he went to college in Illinois, Parkland Junior College. Drafted by Colorado in the 14th round at 92. They traded him to the Mets in the Saberhagen deal. Clark hits one in the air outside the left field line. Ron Gant coming over into the bullpen, and he went up on that bullpen bench, but it was out of play.
You know, your pitchers are supposed to help you out a little more than that. They kind of scattered instead of trying to help Gant out, but of course you can't touch him over there. Try to hold him up. Somebody just got the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah. Get out of his way. He's a determined young man in pursuit of a fly ball. 2 balls and a strike to Clark with Bagwell at third. 3-1. This is actually the type of game a lot of fans might have anticipated between these 2 clubs. They're both hard-hitting offensive teams.
And their bullpens right now a little beat up, so if you get into either one of these bullpens, there could be a lot of runs scored here tonight. 98 miles an hour on that one fastball. Wow.
Foul back, 3-2. Acevedo's had some elbow problems after his starts recently.
Yep. Now he's up to 22 pitches already. Shurek had a 42-pitch inning. So these 2 pitchers might be lucky to go 5 innings here tonight.
Acevedo started a game here in Houston in '95, and that was his major league debut. 5 innings, 1 hit, no runs. Had a no-hitter for 3 1/3. Breaking ball. Clark takes a walk, and he really showed discipline in laying off. That was a good pitch.
It really was. I believe if you ask Pagnozzi after the game, he'll say, boy, I didn't know how Clark laid off this pitch, because they've been throwing him a steady diet of fastballs. That looked like it might be in the strike zone and dropped down, and Clark laid off.
Without the playing time on the road trip, he might have gone for that pitch. He's a little sharper now. Ricky Gutierrez has now slipped below 300 for the first time since the first day of the season. 298, no homers, 13 runs batted in.
Base hit to right. Bagwell scores to make it 4-3. Clark goes to third.
The throw is cut off. Gutierrez picks up his 14th run batted in.
Bill, what a great job of hitting. Did you notice Bagwell and Gutierrez didn't try to fight that fastball? They just went with it. And that's the way you hit it. McGuire just that ball was shot. He had no chance to make the play. Notice how Hunter was playing, however, way over towards the line. And that prevented Clark from scoring. I think had that ball gone to the corner with 2 outs, Clark would have scored and tied this game up.
What a first inning. 7 runs. 6 hits between the 2 clubs already. Brad Ausmus bats, but first of all, a visit to the mound by the manager, Tony La Russa. Ausmus is the number 8 hitter. Runners at first and third, 2 outs. Gutierrez stole a very big base in Cincinnati as the Astros won in the 10th inning against Jeff Shaw. Tony La Russa is a guy who leaves no stone unturned, Bill.
Probably wanting to come right after Ausmus here. Shurek is a pretty good hitter for a pitcher. Just reminding them of the 2 outs, giving them a little pep talk.
He might be thinking that Gutierrez could be running here. We'll see what develops with Ausmus batting.
Did you try a double steal here?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
There's strike one. Ausmus has a .216 average, and Brad had quite a day yesterday. 3 hits last night. He has 2 homers and 10 runs batted in.
Always a possibility too that if Gutierrez steals second, they'd probably walk Ausmus anyway.
That's a chop into left field. That'll tie it.
What a game already.
Gaetti was in at third base. Ausmus can drop down a bunt, but instead he hit a 1-bouncer into left field to make it 4-4.
Bill, we're not out of the first inning yet. There have already been 8 runs scored on 6 hits. We've had 4 bases on balls. We've had almost 1 game in 1 inning.
Send out for pizza, folks.
Everybody glad they got here early for batting practice because all the action's in the first.
Pete Shorrock now in a 4-4 game bats. He has 1 hit and 6 at bats so far as an Astro. This guy can swing the bat capably.
Yeah, but can he hit a 98-mile-an-hour fastball?
Not a whole lot of folks can. There's strike one to Shorrock.
A little late on that, Pete.
He's a 172 career hitter, 2 homers and 17 runs batted in. Born in Austin, Texas, moved away at an early age to Virginia. 1 ball, 1 strike to Shorrock. Of course, a lot of guys who are in Major League Baseball and pitching were fine hitters in high school. He's among them. He hit .555 when he was a senior in high school. Pitcher, first baseman, 11 homers. Good fastball, and it's a foul tip. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Acevedo facing the 9th man already.
Yeah, usually early in your career, the pitcher is the biggest kid. he's the best athlete.
Cardinals had the day off, giving their bullpen some rest yesterday. Shorrock was back from a fastball. It's 2-2.
Of course, Pete says in high school I didn't face many 98-mile-per-hour pitchers. Man, look where that pitch was. Oh, that scares you to death. That ball's 98 miles per hour, folks.
It hurts just a little bit more at 98.
Wow.
2-2.
Just throw this one down the middle.
He struck him out. But the Astros counter with a 4 spot of their own. They put together 5 hits and left 2. Bagwell got one of those hits, a 2-run double. It's 4-4 after 1.
What a first inning, as we had 8 runs and 7 hits. Well, it's Baseball Thursday on Fox Sports Southwest. Bernie Williams leads baseball's most relentless attack as the Bronx Bombers battle Jim Thome, David Justice, and the defending American League champs, the Yankees and the Indians. Baseball Thursday, 6 p.m. on Fox Sports Southwest. Well, Bill Brown, we had a 47-minute first inning and a lot of excitement with 8 runs.
Bill, that's the first for this year with 4 runs for each club in the first inning. The Astros have had a 4-run first. Their opponents have had a 4-run, but not both clubs in the same game. And now Billy Spires with some encouragement for Pete Shorrock here. He'll come in and talk as Shorrock is getting set for the second inning.
You know, I'm sure they told Pete, hey, Pete, we can get this Cardinal pitching, so just hang in there.
Wonder if he's all right. Spires stayed to chat for a moment. We see a little movement in the Astros bullpen, but nobody warming up right now. We'll find out very soon if Shorrock has the stuff to stay in. Brian Hunter's the batter. Again, the fastball's outside from Shorrock. Ball 1 to Hunter. 197 his average. 2 homers and 7 runs batted in. Hunter's a very good pinch hitter. 1 ball and 1 strike. He's had only 66 at bats this season. 20 of those have come in pinch hitting roles. Bill mentioned he's been a first baseman quite a bit in the past. 2 balls and a strike.
Now, Bill, that's one of Pete's best pitches. He likes to throw that fastball, tail it off on the outside part of the plate, and he's nowhere close. And boy, when you're without one of your best weapons, it's tough to pitch. See, he's nowhere near the plate. He's not near the strike zone.
3-1.
I hope there's nothing wrong with him physically.
That makes you wonder. Foul ball, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Shurik had elbow surgery during the offseason. Was given some extra time to come back. His pattern has been win 1, lose 2. Hammered on a line into left field, base hit. Dave Clark fields it on a hop, and Hunter gets hit number 3 for St. Louis. He's on for Acevedo. Inning by inning, there's Pete's ERA.
Number 53, Juan Acevedo.
Well, you see, the middle innings have really been to his benefit, but he hasn't always gotten to the middle innings in a lot of starts.
Gone 7 innings each of the last 2 starts. That's been his longest. Acevedo has 2 hits and 6 at bats. Fires at his doorstep right now. There's a good low fastball for strike 1. That's the pitch Shurik has not been able to locate so far tonight.
He really needs that pitch, that good low fastball, working on the outside part of the plate.
Acevedo does not have a sacrifice bunt. He takes signs from Rene Latchman.
Bill, a lot of times a starting pitcher, if he doesn't have one pitch, he'll look to find something he can count on early in a game, and Pete just hasn't found anything yet. See, the curveball's not even working for him. He was high on the curveball to Hunter, and Hunter jumped all over it.
Mike Hampton came out with an injury after 3 innings last night. So the Astros bullpen worked 6 innings. Hampton is now on the 15-day disabled list. And the Astros don't have a day off until June 29th. Foul back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. If you're looking at the Cardinal order, you're always thinking about when McGuire might come up. Reggie Harris is in the Astros bullpen. He is the replacement for Hampton, but the Astros are also a little concerned about right-handed reliever Doug Henry, who's had some tenderness in his shoulder. And they might replace Harris with a starting pitcher when Hampton's start comes around again. A bunt goes back to Shurik. He tosses over to Biggio. Sacrifices the first of the year for Acevedo. Hunter to second, 1 out.
That's a pretty good job on that bunt, because that breaking pitch was way down, and watch him, he has to follow it all the way down and got the head of the bat on it. That's a good job. He came into the game hitting .333, had a couple of hits this year, 2 for 6, so he handles the bat pretty well.
Shurik has a man on second, Hunter, and 1 out for Royce Clayton. Clayton led off the game with a walk. The Cardinal first inning might have been even more than a 4 spot had Clayton not been thrown out. Breaking early off second base on the pickoff move by Shurik. There's ball 1 to Royce. He's been mentioned in trade talks. Cardinals evidently were shopping Clayton, who can be a free agent after this season. Shurik caught the corner there, 1-1. That's a pitch he's really been trying to throw several times tonight, Bill.
Yeah, it is, and that's one he's got to have. He lives on that part of the plate. That allows him to come in occasionally.
Cleveland is bombing Kansas City 9-1 in the 7th inning. 2 balls and a strike to Clayton. Manny Ramirez hit his 11th home run for the Indians. Minnesota got 2 in the first at Detroit for Mike Morgan against Denny Harriger. 2-1 here to Clayton. Biggio to his right. Gets the Cardinal shortstop. 2 outs. Hunter to third.
Well, the first 15,000 adults in attendance of the Saturday game, Astros and the Reds, at 12:15 will receive a Jackie Robinson commemorative lapel pin. The pregame ceremonies will include the unveiling of a Jackie Robinson number 42 banner. So you can visit the Astrodome box office, Ticketmaster, call 713-6-ASTROS. Reds being in this weekend.
Delino to Shields, bounces one. Biggio in for it. Gets him. Shurik with a 0 in the 2nd inning. Cardinals have a hit. They leave a runner at third. It's 4-4.
5 going into the bottom of the second inning. A lot of action going on around the league. Kevin, what do you have for us?
All right, thanks a lot, Bill. Where else? Southwestern Bell around the league takes us to the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. Astros lead is now 2.5 games in the Central on the Cubs, thanks in part to Jeremy Burnitz, who hit his 15th of the season. 3 Brewers went deep in the game as Milwaukee snapped the Cubs' 10-game home winning streak. They win it 11-2. Bill and Bill, back to you.
So the Cubs are not invincible. Steve Traxel started that ball game. Kerry Wood has really been a shot in the arm for them. They're a major factor. The Astros don't play them for a while yet, Bill.
Kerry Wood got a lot older today, turned 21.
Tender youth.
Yeah, the Brewers had the sticks out today.
Yes, they did. Milwaukee began the day 8 games behind Houston. Craig Biggio flied out to center in the first inning. It's 4-4 in the bottom of the second now. Acevedo almost hit him on the leg with ball 1. 1-0 to Biggio. Cardinals made a run at him when he was a free agent.
That was a good shot we just saw, Bill, of how Acevedo holds that ball in his glove up in front of him. And you get a pretty good idea of how he will grip a pitch before he throws it. And you see he's just got the fingers on the ball now. Now he's going with a fastball.
Biggio takes, it's a strike. 2-1.
A lot of pitchers will put, if they throw a split finger, and Acevedo does, they'll grip the ball with a split finger so they don't have to look like they're really digging in their glove and going after something, which sometimes can tip off the pitch. See, he's got the fastball again.
Biggio looks at strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He's a good enough hitter to take 2 strikes.
Yeah, he can get behind, and that doesn't bother him at all.
Mets lead Montreal 1-0 after 7 for Al Leiter. It's Arizona 2, Cincinnati 0. Middle of the 6th inning. Omar Dahl with a shutout.
There was a slider.
3-2. Pete Harnisch has the start tonight for the Reds. There have been trade rumors about Harnisch going somewhere, maybe even St. Louis.
Boy, the way he's pitching, why would you want to get rid of him?
Well, if he
except they're not going anywhere either.
No, if he could bring a couple of young players in return who would help the Reds for the next few years, Jim Bowden might do that. Biggio's down on strikes.
Man, that's some cheese.
Rocket power stuff from Acevedo. That was clocked at 97.
Well, when you throw at 97, you say, here it is, hit it if you can. And look at the location, too. That's the most important thing to a good hitter like Biggio. It was on the outside part of the plate. So not only did he throw at 97 miles per hour, he had great location.
Bill Spires got a single into right field in the first inning. That triggered the Astros' 4-run rally. We were talking earlier about the changes in the batting order for Larry Dierker. Spires went for 1 upstairs, strike 1. He is really an ideal number 2 hitter. More of an ideal number 2 man than Derek Bell. Bell is more of an RBI man. Spires has a very good walk to strikeout ratio, advances runners well. He's a left-handed hitter who can pull the ball to right when there's a runner on first. So there are a lot of attractive qualities about him, and Ricky Gutierrez can do those same things. As a right-handed batter, he can hit to right field and get Biggio from first to third.
So when you're going to rest Spires, you could put Goody up there in the number 2 hole when Sean Berry plays.
That's right.
I think it always bothered Larry, don't you, that he was wasting Bell in that number 2 spot. He wanted to get Bell going, and he had to hit him ahead of Bagwell, but the key here is you can still hit him ahead of Bagwell. Bagwell just has to hit in the cleanup spot.
Yes, sir. And Bagwell's still surrounded by enough traffic with Alou hitting so well behind him that he can get pitches to hit. Ball 3, or Jeff will take his walks. He doesn't mind that.
Well, you know, a lot of times when he came up 3rd in the inning, Bill, you would walk him anyway.
Right.
Because there were 2 outs. And just go ahead and put him on base. So he got a lot of walks because pitchers pitched around him.
Yes, he did. That was very common in the first inning. That's a strike, and it's 3-2 to Spires. He and Biggio both worked a full count. As you alluded to, Bill, earlier, that could become very important with Acevedo on the mound.
Make him throw a lot of pitches.
center.
Watch out.
Gant back. And he snatches it at the wall.
Well, that ball seemed to die. I think had he pulled it, it would have gotten out of here. He got enough bat on it, but it seemed to die just a little bit. He hit a slice. he sliced this baseball. There's the swing. Did a pretty good job of getting on top of it.
Acevedo has 2 outs. Both pitchers regrouping after giving up 4 in the first. Derek Bell hit a high chop to third. Gaetti had no play on him. It was an infield hit. Breaking ball. Ball 1. That's the other thing that Bell brings to the number 3 spot. He's an RBI man. He runs well enough. He's certainly not a clogger, so he can get on and move around the bases for Bagwell. Fastball to left field. Gant backing on this. 1-2-3 second for Acevedo. It's 4-4 after 2.
We're tied as we go to the top of the 3rd inning. Hey, the Astros' next road trip begins next week in Colorado, and KNWS Channel 51 will bring you the game on Thursday, June 25th. Our next Fox Sports Southwest telecast is tomorrow night when the Astros face the Cardinals. And don't forget to tune in 30 minutes early to Fox Sports Southwest tonight as Kevin Eschenfelder previews the game and sets up the night's action from around the league. And I think Greg Lucas dusted off his old fielder's glove and went out to the left field bleachers to see if he could catch one of those batting practice home runs from Mark McGwire.
Ooh, there were a lot of folks out there waiting as McGwire launched a few during batting practice. McGwire walked and scored in the first inning. Pete Shurek misses with a curveball. There's ball 1 to McGwire. I mentioned earlier that McGwire and Shurek are both investors in a racing team on the NASCAR circuit. The AAA of NASCAR, as Shurek calls it. Whoa. It's 1-1.
Shurek pulled a string on him then.
That car is driven by Houston's Bobby Hillin Jr. and it races in the Busch League Series, and it has the number of McGwire's home run total on the back of the car.
Oh, they keep changing it?
Yeah, they keep changing it, so Shurek doesn't want to be responsible for changing that number. 2 balls and a strike.
They don't run out of paint.
Yeah. 3-1.
That feature tomorrow night will be on batting practice, and you'll get to see the reaction of the fans as McGwire takes it.
Whoa. 3-2 to McGwire. So that'll be fun to watch because he always comes up and bunts the first pitch and everybody boos.
I'm telling you, there were about 25,000 here tonight. It was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it.
Electric. Ball 4 to McGwire. He continues to lead the league in walks. That's the 73rd. That's the 4th walk of the night for Shurek. Not only is McGwire on a pace, as you see the league leaders, and he's way ahead of Barry Bonds. Not only is he on a pace to break the record for homers and runs batted in, but also for walks. He's on a pace for 172 walks.
Wow.
Babe Ruth with a record 170 in 1923. Brian Jordan fouls it. There's strike 1 to Jordan.
Well, we've seen it happen right here when Jeff Bagwell would get hot. How many times they would pitch around him, and no pitcher wants to give up a 500-foot home run, so you're always pitching around him if you get behind him.
Foul ball away, and it's 0-2. Shurek doing a better job now of hitting that outside corner with his fastball to a right-handed batter.
He's starting to find that, and he's going to have it to stay around much longer in this game. You know, McGwire has been walked intentionally, Bill, 14 times, and 8 of those times by Dusty Baker. He just won't pitch to him.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
And I think that might cost him the record if anything does, and it's unfortunate. I wish I'd want to be in the record book. I'd come right after him. I mean,
a lot of pressure on the pitchers facing him not to give up those long balls. Fly ball left field. Dave Clark waiting.
I mean, you don't think Nolan Ryan would have backed off of him, do you?
No, but the guy with Ryan's stuff, Kerry Wood, can still throw the ball by McGuire, although McGuire, for a big guy, has a rather short stroke. That's what they talk about on him, Bill.
Yeah, that's what I watch. You know, he's very quiet at the plate, much like Moises Alou. You know, those quiet hands, they stand there, and then whoosh, that bat goes through the strike zone, and it's gone.
Tom Pagnazzi is next. Ball one to Pagnazzi, who delivered a sac fly in the first inning. Pagnazzi checks his swing. They appeal at first. He didn't go. Charlie Rutherford with the call, 2-0. Pagnazzi holding forth again this year as the everyday catcher for the most part. Tom Lampkin, a left-handed hitter, also plays some. Eli Marrero is on the way, though. Top prospect. He's been with them this year already. Line drive left field, headed for the corner. Clark will play it off the wall. It caroms by him. McGuire goes to third, and he'll stop there. There's a double for Pagnazzi, his 4th of the year. He was ahead in the count, 2-0, and he turned on this one.
Well, he really did. Again, I don't know. Clark seemed to get a late jump on it. He was playing way off the line, and then he doesn't play a lot in left field, and that hurt him here on the carom off the wall. That allowed the runner to get to third easily.
Schurig now has runners at second and third and 1 out, facing Gary Gaetti, who ripped a 3-run homer off him in the first inning.
Well, a lot of weak spots in either one of these lineups.
No, sir. That's strike one. When Brian Hunter is hitting 8, and he has some power, that'll show you that it is a potent lineup for Tony La Russa.
If you throw this guy a fastball, you better have a good idea where you want it. Because Schurig threw him a fastball on the home run. It was over the outside part of the plate, and he still pulled it.
Swings at a breaking ball. It's 0-2 to Gaetti. He just feasts on the fastballs.
Yeah.
Even though he's 39 years old, he can still rip. Gaetti missed 9 games this year with a bruised eye. He lost a pop-up in swirling winds of Philadelphia. It bounced and hit him in the eye. Fouls it away. Still 0-2 to Gaetti. Here's what he did last time up against Schurig.
That's what I'm talking about. See, the location was outside, but not outside enough. Pete's been struggling with that pitch. Now he's 0-2. He can waste something if he wants to, close to that corner. Will they come in on him?
Looks like it.
Oops.
Foul ball.
He better come way in.
He was ready to crank. Nice sized crowd here tonight. The Astros were expecting around 30,000 or so, but they had a lot of sales close to game time.
This is a big walk-up city.
Yes, it is.
Always sell a lot of tickets at game time.
Swing and a miss. Schurig gets Gaetti.
Oh, a good changeup. He really took a lot off this pitch, and watch the action on it right at the tail end. He turns it over just enough. Watch it dip down and out of the strike zone. Perfect pitch.
First strikeout for Schurig.
Keeping hitters off balance is what pitching is all about, and that's exactly what he had Gaetti way out on the front foot.
Ron Gant is next. Gant looks at a strike. He bounced out to Biggio to end the first inning.
This guy springs for about, what, 25 Victoria tickets every time he comes into the Dome?
That's right. Half of Victoria is probably here.
That's a good baseball town.
Breaking ball still isn't there for Schurig. That one didn't have good rotation. The count 1-1. So he's had to throw a lot of fastballs, but now he's locating that pitch better. And the changeup is there for him, too.
Still throwing 77 pitches.
He almost hit his spot there. It's 2 balls and a strike. That was close to Gant.
Gant has had some huge games against the Astros, and You can put Atlanta's uniform on him, Cincinnati's, the Cardinals. He's always damaged Houston.
24 career home runs. He's 3-1. Brian Hunter on deck.
Oh boy. 81 ribbies in 127 games. He's had a nice career against Houston.
Bet he has. 3-1 to him. Short needs to be careful. Breaking ball is ball 4. 5 walks.
Well, let's take a look back at what happened on this date in baseball history. It's brought to you by your Jeep and Eagle dealer. And on June 15th, 1975, pinch hitter Cliff Johnson smacks a grand slam home run off St. Louis pitcher Mike Garman in the top of the 9th at Busch Stadium. And I'll bet you Cliff's watching in San Antonio tonight.
Boy, he had a home run streak, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He could really hit.
Brian Hunter looks at ball 1.
Cliff may have been the best pinch hitter I ever saw.
He was tremendous.
Come off that bench cold, and he could hit. He could hit anywhere.
Hunter singled to left field in the 2nd inning. Bases loaded, 2 outs. It's a 4-4 game in the 3rd. Hunter's out in front. It's 1-1. Acevedo, the pitcher, on deck. Schurik struggling again.
Pete's having to rely on that changeup and the curveball. Struggling with his fastball tonight on location. It's the worst pitch to have that you can't locate.
Hunter was in a battle with Vince Coleman, the longtime Cardinal, for the final spot on the Cardinal club this spring. He barely beat out Coleman. Schurik misses, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Coleman went to AAA for a while, and then he gave it up. Tony La Russa thought it was a tough call, but Brian Hunter is here. Strike makes it 2-2 to Hunter, who last year at Indianapolis hit 21 homers, drove in 85 runs, did not get a call to the major leagues. In his career with the bases loaded, he's been a fine hitter. Very big pitch coming. The runners would go if it went to 3-2 with 2 outs. Foul back. Fastball of Schurik registering at 88 and 89 on the inside game here at the Astrodome.
No, the last fastball was at 90 miles. He tried to get a little more giddy up on it to get it by Hunter. He's right at his pitch count. He's getting close.
Now, the Astros have been sticking with that strict pitch count, about 95 or 100 on Schurik this year. Now it's 3-2. Schurik needs to come up with something here. What'll it be?
Well, he threw a breaking pitch to Hunter back in the 2nd inning, and Hunter drilled it to left field for a single. So they've stayed away from the breaking pitches here, and this at bat, let's see what they come with on 3-2. The changeup has worked for him. He's been able to get that over, but he go back to it again.
Hunter's only walked 4 times. He swings and fouls it.
A little bit of a cut fastball. Looked like came in on the hands with it.
Now, Pete's used that pitch effectively this year in some of his starts. Showed him a different look. And this is a tough one when you're trying to get out of a bases loaded spot. It's 3-2. Pretty good RBI man at the plate, getting a lot of foul balls. It's been a long inning for Schurik. Those are the numbers so far for him in a 4-4 game. Big pitch on the way. Line drive foul.
There's that changeup again, Bill. But you know, Hunter, hitters will get up there. They've got that computer figured out up in the head of what the guy's throwing. He knows Schurik's having trouble with his fastball on location. He knows he's thrown that changeup just like we do, and he knows he hit a breaking pitch. So all of those things tell him that Schurik's going to either come with that breaking pitch or the changeup. He doesn't have good control. Would Schurik try to throw one by him here?
He's thrown 8 pitches to Hunter.
Curveball.
And he's walked in a run. Cardinals lead it now 5-4. Hunter draws only his 5th walk of the season.
Well, that's 6 walks now by Pete Schurik.
Vern Rule on his way out. Acevedo will be next.
Well, Pete's already thrown 89 pitches, and he's not out of the third inning yet. And now they're going to get, is that Trevor Miller?
Either Miller or Nitkowski. It is Miller.
I thought he threw pretty well in Detroit. He looked like he was throwing as hard as I've seen him throw all season. He looked loose.
Yes, he did. He's had some good outings lately, and if he does have to come in here, he probably would be asked to stay in for several innings, Bill.
Yeah, they're going to have to, because as you mentioned, Doug Henry not available tonight, and Magnanti had to pitch 3 innings last night, so there's 2 pitchers on your staff that you're not going to use tonight. That's tough.
Acevedo is next. He put down a sac bunt in the second. Bases loaded. There's strike 1 at the knees.
Sure about that, buddy?
5 runs on 4 hits for St. Louis. 4 runs on 5 hits for Houston. Battle royal underway tonight. Cardinals have drawn 6 walks in this game. And like the Astros, walking is an important part of their offensive attack.
Well, the Astros have been so good at drawing bases on balls this year in clutch situations to keep rallies alive, and there's no doubt Pete's got to come after Acevedo.
Could be his last batter tonight, no matter what happens.
That's right.
Good fastball makes it 1-2. So if you're Shurik and you're in this situation, you let it rip, Bill.
Yeah, you do. And now when you're ahead 1-2 in the count, get him right here. Don't mess around with him.
Curveball got him looking. Second strikeout for Shurik. Cardinals take the lead again with a run on 1 hit, and they leave 3. They've stranded 4. They're in front 5-4.
Hey, golfing fans, you need to tune in to Golf Texas Saturday morning, because we're going to take you to one of the finest resorts in the Texas Hill Country. This week, we visit Tapatio Springs in Boerne. Director of Golf Jess Hawkins and touring pro Trey Tyner will help me play this beautiful course. That's Golf Texas Saturday morning at 11 here on Fox Sports Southwest, your region of Fox Sports Net. And Tapatio Springs owner Jack Parker, I'll tell you, he's the ultimate host. And he also usually wins our closest to the pin contest every year.
That's not being a good host.
Well, I won't tell you how, we allow him to shoot at it 7 or 8 times. The rest of us have to shoot at it once.
Well, if he's the host, that'd be all right.
That's right. I can't argue with Jack.
Juan Acevedo goes out for the bottom of the 3rd inning. He has a 5-4 lead. He made the last out looking with the bases loaded in the top of the frame. He'll face Bagwell, Alou, and Clark in the bottom half. Jeff Bagwell grounded a 2-run double to the left of Mark McGwire in the 1st inning to get the Astros on the scoreboard. They had a 4-run first, as did the Cardinals. Bagwell doesn't hit too many balls on the ground up the right field line. Breaking pitch, strike 1 from Acevedo. The Astros and Cardinals met in the 2nd series of the year in '97. Bagwell to right field near the line. Hunter over. There's 1 out. Well, they've been waiting for 2.5 months to meet for the first time here in '98, but they'll have a lot of interesting games coming up against each other. The Cardinals will be back here in September, and the Astros go to St. Louis as well in the final days of the season. They won't meet again after this series until July 9th, the 4-game set in St. Louis.
It'll be nice and warm for you there.
Oh, yes. It'll be an oven. It'll be like Houston right now. Moises Alou takes ball 1. Alou flied to right in the 1st.
I was there about, I believe it was, we did a game there 5 years ago. It was 127 degrees. That's when they had AstroTurf, remember?
Yes, sir. Smack to left field. That'll be a hit in front again. Single for Moises Alou. 3-game hitting streak for Mo, and Dave Clark will follow.
Bill, this is one of the great swings in baseball. I love to watch him take batting practice because he's so quiet at the plate. There aren't any moving parts. Look how still the hands are. And then boom, he just gets it back and through the ball. It's hard to throw a fastball by this guy. Just can't do it.
Alou, the base runner, 1 out. Clark, who walked on a 3-2 breaking pitch, is up for the second time. His walk came with 2 outs. Gutierrez and Ausmus followed with run-scoring singles. Clark fouls it away. Strike 1 to Dave.
Dave wants to get it down a little bit.
Yes, he does. Carl Everett's been playing every day, Bill, since Richard Hidalgo went out 2 weeks ago. Larry Dierker giving Carl a rest tonight, giving Dave a chance to play, hopefully accomplishing 2 purposes. Todd Stottlemyre takes the mound for St. Louis tomorrow night against Jose Lima, both have won 7. Royce Clayton heads out, and coming in is Jordan. Broken bat pop-up for the second out. Ricky Gutierrez will be next.
Let's take a look at that National League Central now. The Cubbies getting pounded today by Milwaukee. And the Astros off to a great start, but still a lot of baseball that's brought to you by Dodge.
Ricky Gutierrez got a base hit to right field, drove in a run in the first inning. There's strike 1 to Gutierrez. Quite a list of DL participants for both these clubs. Alan Bennis, Matt Morris, Donovan Osborne, all missing in the Cardinal rotation on the disabled list with shoulder problems, as well as Mike Busby. The Astros, Chris Holt, Mike Hampton, Ramon Garcia, all could have been in their rotation. They're all on the DL for this series now.
In fact, they moved Holt, what, to the 60-day DL?
That's right.
So you don't expect Chris back anytime soon.
Fastball, that didn't get a call, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike to Gutierrez.
Really no need to rush Chris back anyway. I think that the pitching of Lima has been such a pleasant surprise, and Bergman, and you know, even Shurey. So they haven't had to rush Chris Holt at all.
Gutierrez rolls one back to the mound. Acevedo tosses over to end the 3rd inning. Milo Hamilton joins Bill in just a moment for the middle innings here on Fox Sports Southwest. 5-4 St. Louis.
Houston Astros baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to go places. By the Sourdough Jack from Jack in the Box. 2 million antenna balls can't be wrong. And by the Texas Lottery. Play Texas Million, the game from the Texas Lottery, with drawings held every Friday night. Well, we got one going here tonight. Pete Shorrock back out there again. He's almost at 90 pitches as he starts the 4th inning. And Royce Clayton will step in to lead it off. And here to take us through the middle innings, Milo Hamilton.
All right, Bill Worrell, you almost caught a ball a while ago. I saw you.
Man, it was right here at the monitor. You know, McGuire's so strong, we've never had one in this booth because I don't think there was anybody strong enough to foul a line drive up here.
Well, speaking of strong, you wonder how much strength Shorrock has because he's been on a pitch count all year. And he's getting up there. A lot of walks will do it to you. When you consider the walks, he's fortunate to only be trailing by a run, Bill.
And they got Trevor Miller back up again now, so they're going to really keep an eye on him. If he can have a quick inning, Larry will let him get it.
2 balls and a strike to Clayton. He walked in the 1st, later got caught stealing. 2nd inning, he bounced to the 2nd baseman. And a strike, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Shortstop Clayton leading it off in this 4th inning. DeShields on deck, then it'll be McGuire. There's a hit that'll go down toward the left field corner. Clark over to get it. Nothing he can do about that. That's a double all the way. Every time Shorrock looks up, Bill, he knows he's got to work to the next hitter from the stretch.
Well, he's really struggling with his location. He just can't seem to get the pitches where he wants to. And with a guy like Pete, location is so important, and he just doesn't have it tonight.
Cardinals now have 5 hits. They keep setting the table.
And you know, Miller down there in the bullpen's figuring, come on, Larry, you're going to put me in to face McGuire? He's right at 100 pitches, and that's his limit. Pete Shurek.
A ball and no strikes. Two 2-0.
Yeah, here comes Larry now. He's seen enough. He needs to get Miller in, I think, to throw a few pitches before he has to face McGuire.
It's not just the matter of the trouble that Shorrock continues to get in. They've taken the time and had the patience to bring him along. They just can't throw all that away tonight and have him hurt that arm again.
Going to have a double switch too, as Bogar will come into the lineup. And as Trevor Miller trots in from the bullpen, we'll take a break. We'll be back with more in just a moment. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Houston Astros and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Houston Astros. So Trevor Miller, Bogar has gone in at shortstop now for Gutierrez, and that means he'll hit in the number 9 spot. He'll be the second hitter due up in the bottom of the inning. And Trevor Miller will be the new pitcher. And Pete Shorrock goes only 3 innings, gives up 5 hits, walks 6. And what's amazing is the fact that he gave up only 5 runs. I mean, you'd really think he'd give up more. And Miller, who pitched pretty well on that road trip, is in the game now, and he'll need to be equally as good here.
He inherits a 2-0 count with a runner at second and nobody out. And it goes to 3-0 to DeShields. You can't close the book yet till you see what happens with DeShields. As far as closing the book on Shorrock, that is. Leadoff double, Clayton at second. Miller looks back and checks him. And he walks him.
That's very important. I think that's why Larry wanted to go out right now and let Miller throw a couple of pitches before McGuire came up there.
Walk is charged to Shorrock. So that would make 7. Now you start the slate clean for Miller with McGuire.
Very important, Milo, to try to hold the Cardinals to where they are now, because Acevedo has not pitched deep into any games either this year. And his pitch count is high, and you hope to get into that Cardinal bullpen pretty soon.
Because Acevedo mostly been relieving.
Right.
Now the pitch to McGuire. Outside corner call. Miller hadn't been working for quite a while. Then he started to get some work in Detroit, and as Bill Worrell pointed out, did some pretty good work on that road trip. McGuire's walked twice, scored each time. Now he'll step back on Miller. 2 on, nobody out. The evening has been dotted with Cardinal base runners. 5 hits, 7 walks. Now they can't get together on the sign on the indicator with the runner at second base. Hosmer says, hey, I'm not going to give you something and have it cross me up and let these runners move up easily. Let's talk this thing over.
Talking it over, that plus the fact that look who's standing at the plate. Now, earlier in batting practice, just watch how easy McGuire swings at the ball, and look where this ball goes. Just a nice smooth swing that goes right into the 3rd level. The problem with pitching him is if you go outside away from him, he's very capable of hitting at 500 feet to right field. So he really doesn't have a weakness. He stands close to the plate. So if you go outside, you've got to go outside. And a lot of pitchers don't like to come into him, of course, for all the obvious reasons.
1 ball and 1 strike. He makes Steve Garvey's forearms look like a bunt. Smashed on the ground is short. Flip it. Fire it. Double play.
Oh, boy.
Clayton's now at third. Even when you get him out, he knocks the ball lopsided. That's Bogar in there at short now.
What is it about Bogar? Every time he comes in for Gutierrez, they hit a ball to him. It doesn't take him long to be in a game before he gets some action. But Bogar will make the play for you. He's slick with that glove.
This is Brian Jordan with a runner at third and 2 away. Down and in, a ball.
When you're not out of the woods yet.
Boy, the Cardinal team absolutely underscores with no mistake how important pitching is. They've got a pretty good lineup. There's a high fly ball left center, and this ball's gonna leave the dome. Man, oh man. You work hard to get the double play ball, and then Jordan jacks one. That'll put it to 7-4. McGuire hadn't hit one, but Gaetti and Jordan have now, and it's 7-4. Something's wrong with this plan.
Well, you see the location. That's what's wrong with it. Boy, that's right in his wheelhouse.
Six of the 7 runs are charged to Shorik. That's down a ball to Pagnazzi. He's had a couple of pretty good swings here tonight. Sacrifice fly RBI in the first and a double to left in the 3rd inning.
Of course, the great thing about this game, if you're an Astros fan, is you're not out of it by any means. The Cardinals, if the Astros can get into their bullpen, they can score a whole bunch of runs too. So no lead for the Cardinals has been safe this year.
Well, and the Cardinals found out in the 1st inning that 4 runs weren't enough.
No.
It's 1-2 to Pagnazzi. Gaetti would be next. Jordan's 12th home run and gives him 44 runs batted in. Struck Pagnazzi out, but they get a pair. 2-run homer Jordan. Middle of the 4th on Fox. Hang with us, folks. We got a long way to go. And it's 7-4 Cardinals. Acevedo keeps going out there to a lead. Cardinals lead by 3. All right, Astro fans, it's time. Time to call 1-888-A-LONE-FOR-YOU for your chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Astros home game. Compliments of the associates. Call 1-888-A-LONE-FOR-YOU, and you can call now. Osmus will lead it off against Juan Acevedo. Osmus drove in a run in the 1st inning. At that time, it scored the 4th run to tie the game. There's a little hit on the fist popping up, and the pitcher backs up and says, hey, I can handle that.
Well, that's a wise decision, because as a pitcher, you don't want to give up any outs. And I'm not sure he thought Gaetti could get over there to it fast enough. And if that ball hits, Osmus has good speed. So pitcher says, I'll take it.
This is Bogar put in the 9 spot in the double switch when they brought on Miller. And a strike to him. Bogey batting only 158. High chopper third. Gaetti says, hey, they're working on me with that chopper down the side. This time he makes the play. Didn't jump over him that time, Bill.
No, it didn't. Wasn't hit quite as well. Got a good arm. Got over there and got it. So Acevedo has settled down now. He started to throw strikes, and that's what Shorik couldn't do.
Up to the top with Biggio. He's flying to center, and he's struck out swinging. Acevedo's had pretty good velocity on his fastball tonight. And he's dipped in with a slider once in a while and a forkball. Maybe not for strikes, but has been a tough pitch to lay off of. So those combinations has helped him to throw the strikes. And now, as Bill says, he's kind of settled in, and he's got a 7-4 lead. 1-0 to Biggio. 1-1.
He's always had that good fastball. He'll average about 95 miles per hour. He can get it up to 98 or 99, and he has on several occasions in this game. But if he's getting that little slider over, he's tough.
And he throws his forkball for a change and kindly moves down and in to right-hand batters. And here's the 1-1. Fly ball left field, and right there to catch it is Gant, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Acevedo. Don't let him get settled into a groove, folks. We played 4 innings on Fox. The Cardinals having it their way, 7-4. In the 5th to Gaetti, and the first pitch is a called strike. Milo Hamilton, Bill Worrell, and the Big Murph and his gang downstairs on Fox from the Dome, the opening game of this 3-game series. High fly ball center. It's trouble, and it's right up against the wall. Alou had to play it as it came back to him. So Gaetti's had a 3-run homer and now an opening double. I'll tell you one thing, the pitchers we're using tonight are getting a lot of practice working from the stretch.
Well, look at the location again. Here, see, that's right down the middle. A fastball to a fastball hitter. I mean, if you're going to throw him a fastball, you better have a good idea where it's going. It almost went out of the park.
Here's Gant. He bounced out in the first inning, walked in the 3rd. They've used the long ball, but not from McGuire. Tried to backdoor him with a breaking ball, but it went down low. 1-0 to Gant. Gant's been bothered by hamstring problems. Kept him out of some games. Miller looks back. Now delivers. There, he got that pitch in there. Came right, but Osmus put down the same fingers.
You know, Astros are the same as the Cardinals. They love to see a pitcher struggling with location. Look what happened. Acevedo couldn't locate the ball where he wanted to in the first inning, and the Astros got 4 runs and got right back in it. And a good hitting team like these two teams are, you better have your good stuff or you're in trouble.
A ball and a strike. Backs Gant out of there. 2-1. On deck hitter, journeyman first baseman outfielder Brian Hunter. There are the principals. Gaetti just moved out of your picture. He led off the inning with a double. Miller will check in on him and bring a 2-1 to Gant. 2-2. Couple of right-handers will lock horns tomorrow night. Lima and Stottlemyre. Stottlemyre has had to be the bell cow of that pitching staff with all those injuries.
Tell you what, he'll bring his lunch pail too. You better be ready.
Strike called. Good pitch. Gant gone looking. Second strikeout for Miller. 4th of the game against the Astros. Against the Cardinals, and 3 of the 4 have been called. Now here is Hunter. He started off the 2nd with a hit, and in the 3rd inning he got a bases loaded walk to push across their 5th run. Check in at 2nd, and there's that good pitch again. Hey, the Boudreaux board has arrived. Cleveland beat Kansas City 9-1. Colin beat Pichardo. Ramirez hit number 11. They had 43,000 at Cleveland. Line foul. He turned on it. Detroit leads Minnesota 3-2. They're in the bottom of the 5th. Toronto 3, Tampa Bay 1. They've played 8 innings at Tampa Bay. Sorrento hit number 7. Canseco had to leave that game with back spasms. New York and Baltimore scoreless. They go to the 5th in Baltimore. Cracked bat fouled on third base coach Rene Latchman. Boston 3, Chicago nothing in the Battle of the Sox. Jefferson number 7 for the Bo Sox. Thomas number 11 for the Chi Sox. Martinez and Beret in that game. 3-0. Be 3-1 with the Thomas homer now. Boy, Oakland loading up at Texas. Rangers have hit a wall. Foul back. It is now 9-0 Oakland. And the Anaheim Angels will play later tonight hosting Seattle. You realize they could change places?
Well, without Seal or Helling, where would the Rangers be? They've gotten a lot of mileage out of their 3 and 4 starters, and otherwise they've struggled with their pitching.
Ready for an 0-2 to Hunter. Oh, he hung it out over there, and that's going to get a run home. Location, location, location. And when there isn't any, a hitter will make you pay. Made him look so bad with the other stuff, Bill.
Yeah. You know, you oftentimes hear me talk about Wild in the strike zone. Miller's throwing strikes, but you can't throw them there. You've got to throw them on the corners against a good hitting team. Now, see where Ausmus is set up on the inside part of the plate? You see where that pitch was? His glove, he had to go all the way to the other side of the plate to get the ball, and it never got to him because that's where he didn't want to pitch Hunter.
8-4. The Cardinals have their second 4-run lead of the night. Acevedo up here, and he hacks away and fouls it down to the right side. Milwaukee had a big 6-run six this afternoon at Wrigley and paved the way for them to pound the Cubs 11-2. Woodall over Traxel. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Brewers played home run baseball. Burnitz, Jaha, Valentin. Little Valentin's been on a jag. Got his 10th home run today to help the Brewers beat the Cubs 11-2. There's a looping line drive to right. Bell will come in. The runner will be held at third as Bell came on just right in order to have the momentum ready to fire, and Latchman put up a stop sign for Hunter, and the pitcher gets a hit.
Well, here tonight, South Texas Chevy Dealer League leaders, and this are the earned runs allowed here in the National League. And the Astros, of course, that's going up in this game. Right behind the Mets, there's Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and San Diego. And now Vern Rule will walk slowly to the mound. The problem the Astros have is arms. Doug Henry has not been put on the disabled league, but he's list, but he's got soreness in his right shoulder, and they don't want to throw him tonight.
In fact, I even was led to believe last night that maybe today he'd be going on the DL the same time Hampton did. And the newest member of that bullpen is warming up right now.
Yeah, there's Reggie. Reggie Harris just called him up. Just got here after batting practice tonight.
New York Mets beat Montreal 2-0. That was in Montreal. Arizona beat Cincy 5-1, and Harnish did not get number 7. There's a strike to Clayton. Pittsburgh 7, Philadelphia 1. They've played into the 7th inning. Martin and Ramirez have. A little Ramirez has come up and had 3 home runs this week for the Pirates. Runners on the corners. Down and out. Klesko hit a slam for Atlanta, and it just put them in the driver's seat. They beat Florida 7-0. Nagel got the win. Ready for a 1-1 to Clayton. Fouled it off to the right. 1-2. Later tonight, and a very important series for the Dodgers. Now, if they're going to try to make some kind of a statement to those Padres, they got to do it head on. And the Dodgers open a series in San Diego tonight. Park and Brown. The Rockies are in San Fran. It'll be Jones and Hershiser.
That's kind of a mirror of this series, isn't it?
A good change. Got him swinging. 2 away in the inning. So with Miller, it's been strike out or look out.
Well, again, the importance of location, as we talked about. That was a perfect pitch he threw, and he got the results he wanted.
This is DeShields. Single run scored, bounce out, and a walk. They have 7 walks to go with 9 hits. That's a lot of base runners, and you're only in the 5th inning. So we've taken a look at the Boudreaux board on Fox, and you're up to date. Sweeping breaking ball, 0-2.
That's a way to pitch.
Runners first and third with 2 away. A ball. The inning started with a double by Gaetti. After 1 out, Hunter got him home with a double. Right now, Hunter's at third. Acevedo singled. He's at first. 8-4 Cardinals. See, he wanted that ball to go away, but it stayed in, and
well, he was lucky he wasn't in the strike zone with the pitch. So DeShields had some trouble swinging at it. Well, now they want to go away.
Capper, Spires got to come hard. Fast man running. Throw on the run, and he got him. Side retired, but they add a run. Hunter drove in Gaetti. A run on 3 hits, and they leave a pair. Halfway through this game on Fox, middle of the 5th after 4.5. Cardinals have doubled it on Houston, 8-4.
You're watching Houston Astros baseball on Fox Sports Southwest, your region of Fox Sports Net. Right now, 8-4, the Cardinals leading the Astros. And here is tonight's Lowe's trivia question. Name the first American leaguer to hit a total of 5 home runs in 2 consecutive games, and he did it twice. Lowe's knows the answer. To you? I see those wheels turning. Well, you know, we usually wait a hitter. Who do you think it was? Mickey Mantle?
I don't think so.
Harmon Killebrew?
I don't think so.
Are you going to say this to every question?
Till you get the one I like.
Oh. All right, let's see. How far back are we going here?
Was it in the after 1950? Well, then what isn't Joe D?
Oh. You're going with Joe DiMaggio, huh?
All right, Billy Spires triggers something. He had a hit in the first, and it triggered a 4-run inning. Second inning, flied out deep to left. Chased Gant right back into the Fox sign out there in left center. Strike 1 to Spires. Ball after a rocky first. Acevedo now is a pretty good looking pitcher.
Yeah, he was struggling in that first inning. He couldn't find his location on anything, but he's gotten ahead of the hitters since then.
Fouling it off. That puts Spires down in the count, 1-2. Lima pitches the Wednesday game, and Shane Reynolds trying to bounce back off that outing he had in Cincy. But maybe worrying Sam won't bring that black cloud with him from Cincy. Ready for a 1-2. And DeShields will straighten up and throw him out. Pretty good range right there, Bill.
Really was a good curveball, good slider, whatever. It looked more like a slurve thrown by Acevedo.
Number 14.
Named the first American leaguer to hit a total of 5 home runs in 2 consecutive games twice. Mark McGwire.
Why didn't we know that?
Because he was here tonight, right?
That's why we should have known. Here's Bell, 1 for 2 with a run scored, fouled up above us.
You know what's amazing? He has 418 home runs, McGwire. And there were 2 seasons he didn't play. In 1993 and 94, he had injuries to that left heel and that bad. Remember, he had the bad back. And I think he had a total of only about 18 home runs in those 2 seasons combined. And yet he's got 418.
Ooh. Yeah, if he had those 2 seasons back at the end of this year, he'd be pushing 500, wouldn't he?
Be right on it.
Crowd trying to get something going here. Fouled off.
Well, this has really been a big pick-me-up for the Cardinals, Acevedo, because after the first inning, it looked like we could have a 10-10, a 9-9 game, something like that, and Acevedo has settled down, and Tony La Russa's got to love what he's getting out of his big right-hander, because he's thrown only 66 pitches.
Dropping low. And on the other side of the ledger, Larry Dierker's kind of backed into a corner here tonight. Hampton went on the DL. As you said, Jones is questionable. Magnani worked quite a bit. And Wagner worked a long time the other night. Even though he did a good job, he had to throw a lot of pitches. Threw that ball away. Now it's 3-2 to Bell.
The only way you'd see Wagner is if the Astros were able to get that lead before this game was over. I don't think you'll see Magnani. You might see Reggie Harris. He'll probably have to go. Miller will probably only throw about 3 innings.
And the innings on the road trip piled up for C.J. Netkowski. 3-2. High foul coming back this way, and it holds full on Derek Bell. Astros batting in the 5th. Nobody on, 1 away. Bell batting and Bagwell on deck. The Astros put 5 hits up in the first inning. Have only had 1 since, but there's one. A rocket right back through the middle. Whew. Boy, he hit that ball lopsided, Bill Worrell.
Acevedo stuck his foot up. The good thing he didn't make contact with the ball. He might have broken his ankle. This a reflex action by the pitcher. This happens a lot of times. Watch him stick his foot up. He really didn't want to do that. He could have broken something. But see, there's location that I talk about so much. He was up and out over the plate, and that's really the first bad pitch he's made in a couple of innings.
Bagwell 2-run double in the first. 3rd inning, fly ball to right. One ball, no strikes to Jeff Bagwell. Got a little something going now. He's had 8 hits in his last 18 times at bat. He's getting up close to that 270 mark. That may not sound high, but remember, he was down there for quite a while, and then the DL came along. Harris warming up in our bullpen again. Big cut, fouling back. 1-1 to Bagwell. Alou on deck.
You know, too, Milo, that he starts hitting well when he goes to right field, and he's been doing that. He started it
on the trip.
Yeah, on the road trip, and his 2 hits, or his first hit tonight was to right field down the line. He hit another one to right field that was caught, but he's right on the ball now.
You go back to the 2 big years that built his reputation. A lot of balls went to the right side of second base. Crowds him. 2 balls and a strike. Well, look out! Out at first base.
Derek went to sleep.
Boy, oh boy, that's no time to take a nap. You're trailing by 4. You're not going anywhere with Bagwell up there anyway. Boy, does that hurt. Derek could find a place to. He'd have crawled under first base if he could have gotten under there.
Well, he was really safe, but technically the ball beat him there to the bag, and that's why the umpire gave him. Tag was high. Looked like his hand may have gotten in there before the tag, but there's no excuse for that. Bagwell's up and Alou's on deck. You got your power hitters, and now you need some runs.
And it's the old story, Bill. When you get shaky starting pitching, it looks like your whole ball club is affected by it. 3-1 pitch. Pounds foul down the end of their dugout. It's a full count to Bagwell.
Been having trouble with that left eye tonight. Can't get that contact lens just right. You notice he's been tugging with it. I know that's a habit that he has, but it's like it's a little more pronounced tonight.
See what happens on a payoff. Popped it on the right side. Right fielder come on in behind the Shields. Ooh, he almost overran it. Oh, Hunter. He almost pulled a rock. Side retired. Faced only 3 with a pick off of Bell. Now 5 innings have been played on Fox. Cardinals have it so far 8-4.
Cardinals lead at 8-4 as we go top of the 6th this Saturday and Sunday. Join us for an inspirational hour of sports achievement as we present the 1998 Special Olympics of Texas. This program highlights the summer games held here in Houston, where more than 3,500 athletes showcase their skills and determinations. Don't miss it. 2 o'clock Sunday, 7 o'clock here on Fox Sports Southwest.
McGuire leads off the 6th inning against Miller. Sends a high fly ball off the end of the bat that won't carry, and Bell is there. 1 pitch and 1 out for Miller.
Trying to hurry that up because McGuire was coming to the plate, Milo, and that Special Olympics 1998 Texas will be presented by Texas State Optical, and that's Saturday at 2 p.m. and Sunday at 7 p.m. here on Fox Sports Southwest.
Very good, Mr. Orwell. And here is Jordan. A walk, a fly out, and a 2-run homer. They've kept McGuire in the park, but Gaetti and Jordan have hurt you. And Gaetti and Jordan almost hit their home runs in the same spot. Left center field pavilion. Almost 35,000 for the opening game of this series. And they expect bigger crowds tomorrow night and Thursday night. Up the middle, base hit Jordan. You put it on a tee, he's going to hit it.
You know, over half of the 35,000 were here at about 5 or 5:15 this afternoon for batting practice.
10 hits for the Cardinals, half of them off the starter Shorrock, and the next 5 off Miller. Runner on. Here's Pagnazzi. Sac fly, double, strikeout, swinging. The strikeout was against Miller. He's facing him now. Noticeably slipped. He's looking at his hand. Cardinals started the night 9.5 games behind the Astros. 32-35. They're getting some pitching tonight, and the Astros aren't. One ball, no strikes. 2-0.
Pagnazzi's probably the reason, Milo, that Todd Zeil's a third baseman. He was catching with that Cardinals team. Pagnazzi was such a good backstop. They decided to put Zeil at third so they could get Pagnazzi in the lineup to handle their pitchers, and he's been there ever since.
And a strike. And the funny thing about it was Zeil kind of balked at it for a while, so they thought about Pagnazzi at third or even first, and they played him there at some time. When he's healthy, he gives a good job to them, but he's been prone to injury.
Yeah.
And he's missed a lot of games again this year. Working on Jordan, not close. Probably one of the best athletes in the game is right in your picture.
He can get it done. Of course, always uses that threat of going back to pro football.
Runner going, swing and a miss. They'll never get him because he had such a jump. He stole that on a left-hander looking at him.
Yeah, plus it was a curveball, changeup. There's no way in the world that Ausmus. You've got to help your catcher by holding those runners a little closer. Here's Jordan. He'd had a good look at his pickoff move. Astros are #1 in the National League. The Cardinals are #4 in the National League. And tonight, only one caught stealing and one steal.
And that'll bend over that corner. And Pagnazzi will grab some time.
Well, he was looking for another pitch, obviously. You know, Miller's made a lot of good pitches here tonight. He's got 4 strikeouts. And this just almost his 3rd inning of work. But the few mistakes he's made, they've really hit him hard.
Gaetti, 3-run homer, strikeout, and a double. He's driven in 3. He's scored twice. So the veteran third baseman's been busy. High chopper. Biggio got to come and get it. Slow man running. He'll throw him out. Side retired. All right, see if the bats can take a little heart from that. They didn't get on the board this time. Middle of the 6th inning. Fox has it from the dome. Cardinals lead the Astros 8-4.
Here's tonight's 6th inning game summary brought to you by Gatorade. The Cardinals have had 7 walks and 6 extra base hits and 8 runs, and that includes 6 of the 2-out variety on RBIs. Gaetti and Jordan with the homers. The Astros got to Acevedo early in the 1st inning, but they've had only 2 hits since, as the big right-hander has settled down, pitched very well.
So now he'll be looking at Alou, followed by Clark, and then Gut. And there'll be somebody else in that spot.
Yeah, be a pinch hitter.
So Alou and Clark. So busy down around that bat rack.
Now the Cardinals will get some people up and working.
High pop. Pagnazzi lost it for a moment and then looks to see it come back about 8 rows behind the screen. Well, you got to remember, and we pinpointed that once before, Bill. Acevedo has only been starting a little bit. He'd had 20 some relief appearances before they put him in the rotation out of necessity. So they probably figure that his meter is on empty also. This is a time to jump if you're going to jump on him. Smash foul past Mike Cubbage at 3rd. Alou tonight is flying to right and he's singled. He's been hitting about .390 over the last 36 games. And he leads the club in hitting .342. Oh, got away with a pitch up there.
The thing that's impressed me so much about Alou is the Astros have a lot of the same hitters, and when they slump at the same time, except this guy. He's been able in some key situations to get them started.
Right field, but playable. Hunter went back, then came back in a couple of steps.
Well, Father's Day is coming up Sunday. The Astros will play the Reds. It's a 1:35 start time, and the first 10,000 fathers through the gates on Father's Day will get a brushed cotton Astros hat from Chase, Texas. After the game, every father in attendance will have a chance to run the bases. So visit the Astrodome box office, Ticketmaster, call 713-6-ASTROS.
J.R. Phillips is on deck in the pinch hitter's role, and Clark is the batter. He's walked, scored, and flied to center. Off-speed breaking pitch stayed up. 1-0 to Dave Clark. 2 balls, no strikes. Clark batting with nobody on in front of him and 1 away. St. Louis out hitting Houston 10-7, leading the score 8-4. Tight under the knees, 3-0.
Acevedo walked him in the first inning and pitched around him in the third. Clark hasn't seen a lot of good pitches to hit.
Taken all away, and it's 3-1. They're down by 4. He's trying to get on.
Danny Demuth has a high strike zone tonight, doesn't he? I don't see that pitch called a strike very often. Kind of glad. I'd rather see the high strike come back and the umpires lay off that outside pitch as a strike.
Did it keep a lot of hitters from leaning in and getting hit? High chopper to Shields on. He'll throw out Clark, and 2 quick outs in the 6th inning for Acevedo. Boy, after the first inning, this guy's pitching this game in a rocking chair.
Yeah, he is.
Now they've pulled Phillips back, and they'll go with Ray Montgomery. Might be a game to get Montgomery into.
Well, the thought by Larry too is that JR seems to be swinging the bat a little better, and if he needs a pinch hit homer or a long or an extra base hit later in the game, he'll still have Phillips. He's trailing by 4 now. He just needs base runners at this juncture.
When we called Montgomery up from AAA, he was having a great AAA year. And the 2 hits that he's had since we brought him up were good, solid hits.
Hey, there's no lack of talent in the minor leagues for the Astros. They've got some of the best young players right now on the verge of coming up to the major leagues as any teams in baseball. Montgomery's one of them.
1 ball, no strikes. One and 1 to Montgomery in the pinch hitter's role. Asmus would be next. That's what he's done in a couple of call-ups. Ball, and it's 2-1. While the position players are there on the verge, you're kind of between a rock and a hard place. Do you force some of your AAA pitchers to come into this pennant race, or do you go out and get an established pitcher? Line to right, and it'll be Quad. Leaping up and getting it is Hunter. He takes some strange routes to the ball, but he ends up with it. 1-2-3 inning for Acevedo. So, Bill Worrell, when do I see you again?
Tomorrow night.
Okay. Milo Hamilton bidding adieu, and Bill Brown will come over to take you to the end on Fox, and the Cardinals are leading 8-4.
Houston Astros baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your South Texas Chevy dealers. Choose from the best lineup of cars and trucks at your Texas Chevy dealer now. And by Lowe's. When it comes to home improvement, Lowe's knows. The Cardinals have had the big bats out now as Reggie Harris, a youngster that the Astros just called up. In fact, he got here right after batting practice this afternoon, and Mike Hampton was put on the disabled list. He'll be out, and Harris is in there kind of to fill in. The Astros pitchers are depleted at the moment, and here are the numbers that Reggie had in New Orleans at the AAA level. In 26 games, 0-1 with a 3.77 ERA, and he'll go right to the plate to face Ron Gant to lead off the 7th inning. And here to take us the rest of the way is Bill Brown.
Thanks a lot, Bill. And for Reggie Harris, an opportunity right here to make a major impact in an important game for the Astros. Obviously, the Astros can't afford to let St. Louis get in the board again because they're down by 4 already. Trevor Miller with a good 3 innings of work considering the circumstances tonight. And now Harris, who throws hard, gets a chance to come in and slam the door. Cardinals have already delivered 10 base hits in this game. Harris has major league time in with Oakland in 90 and 91. with Boston in '96 and the Phillies last year. Ron Gant hits a ground ball in the hole. Bogart. One pitch, one out for Harris.
Boy, he's slick, isn't he?
He is.
Love to watch this guy with a glove.
He gets in front of it so he can make the throw easier that way. Technically sound, Bill.
All right, again, Gant's got pretty good speed for a power hitter and hits it into the hole, and that's what Bill was talking about. See how he got his body positioned in front of the ball so that he didn't have to throw across his body. Makes it an easier throw, and he's got a good arm.
Harris had thrown 28 2/3 innings at New Orleans, walking 16, fanning 29. Brian Hunter's had quite a night. He punches that back foul for strike one. Hunter has delivered each of the first 3 times he's batted. Single, bases loaded walk, RBI double. Rick Crawshaw's been warming up in the Cardinal pen. Pitcher spot due up next, but John Mabry's on deck, not Acevedo. Acevedo has already worked 6 innings, and apparently that's going to be it for him. Slider to center field. Alou got a good jump. He knew right away, perhaps by the sound of the bat, it was a broken bat and it wasn't going anywhere, Bill.
You're right. Well, Discover Card will donate $500 to the local chapter of the Make-A-Wish Foundation for every Grand Slam hit in tonight's game. We've had about everything but a Grand Slam.
Had a 3-run homer by Gaetti in the first, 2-run shot by Jordan in the fourth for St. Louis. Now here's pinch hitter John Mabry. Mabry has become quite a handyman. He's played several different positions for the Redbirds this year. Fouls it back, and there's strike one. Mabry over the winter was told by the Cardinals to learn third base. They didn't know if they would re-sign Gary Gaetti, and they wanted to have him ready at third in case they didn't. He's hit .266 with 4 home runs, 23 runs batted in. Mabry's had 158 at bats as a pinch hitter, 2 for 7, including a long ball, 3 runs driven in. Breaking pitch in the dirt, 1-1. So Mabry complied. He learned third base. He's had some starts there, first base, right field, and left field this year. Might really help his career to become more versatile. He's an outfielder who's had good seasons. Pinch hitting 2 for 7 so far this year. Has a very strong arm in the outfield. Has not had a whole lot of power in his career. The ability to move around might really help.
They struggled to find a position for him. You know that they've struggled to find a first baseman over the years. They solved that problem in a hurry with McGuire. .293 career hitter, Bill.
He can hit. Bagwell on his knees to Harris. There's the third out. First 1-2-3 inning. Astros pitchers have been able to turn in out of the 7 so far. 8-4 Cardinals.
B.F. Goodrich.
Cardinals lead the Astros as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Here's tonight's Discover Card payback playback. And the big man for the Cardinals, Gary Gaetti. He got him going in that first inning with a 3-run homer. And then Jordan followed it up with another blast later, and the Cardinals lead at 8-4. So everybody looking for McGuire to hit the long ball, and Gaetti and Jordan have had the big sticks tonight.
Rick Crawshaw takes over for the bottom of the 7th inning. He inherits an 8-4 lead. He has no wins or losses, an ERA of 2.13 for 7 games. And he lives in Houston, born in Lakehurst, New Jersey. Walked 6 and fanned 9. He faces Brad Ausmus.
Has a good fastball. You just saw it there. Throws it up around 90 miles per hour. He's one of the 3 rookies in the Cardinal pen right now, and their makeshift pitching.
27 years old. Fastball misses to Ausmus. It's 2 balls and a strike. Crawshaw trying to work his way into that picture. Is not allowed a home run. He's hit a couple of batters, so control has been a little spotty. Batting average against him is only .208 though. That one got away from him. It's 3 balls and a strike. Tony La Russa showing some faith in Croushore here, putting him into a spot in the 7th inning in a big ball game for the Redbirds.
Well, in making his major league debut this year, he's 27 years old. You know, here's a youngster who may figure, hey, this might be one of my few chances to stick.
Base hit to left by Ausmus. He's 2 for 3.
May not be with the Cardinals, but if he looks good, he might catch on somewhere else.
Ausmus is on. Tim Bogart will follow this swing of the bat.
Well, he got behind, which you don't want to do to anybody, and then came right down the middle. Ausmus with the base hit. Now this St. Louis bullpen is shaky. If the Astros can get the bottom of the order on the bases for the top, they can go to work. 4 runs is not anything.
Bogart takes ball 1. Tim bounced out to 3rd in the 4th inning. Croushore worked the middle game of the series in Arizona 3 days ago. He went 3 1/3 innings, giving up 2 hits and 1 run in relief of Kent Mercker, who left with an injury. He was recalled from Memphis May 18th when Donovan Osborne went on the DL.
Bill, he's pumped up, and Pagnozzi is going to go out to talk to him. You mentioned right off the top that he lives in Houston now, so he's probably got a lot of friends here tonight. A chance to pitch against the Astros. Also, his first trip up to the majors against a big crowd, 35,000, and he's pumped.
This is his 2nd stint with the Redbirds. He did a turnaround, came back 2 days after he was sent down. Pitcher's version of a utility man. He can start long relief or short relief, Bill.
They really hadn't found a spot for him in the last couple of years. Of course, with all the injuries the Cardinals have had to their pitching over the last 2 or 3 years, they've seen a lot of pitchers.
Bogart takes, and it's ball 3.
Well, you got Ausmus and Bogart, who together probably aren't hitting as much as some other players, and boy, Duncan hates to see that. He's on the phone again. You want to make Ausmus and Bogart hit.
Ball 4.
He's not even close, Bill.
He walked the number 9 hitter on 4 pitches. The last thing Dave Duncan, as you mentioned, wanted to witness, because the Cardinals have a 4-run lead, and Duncan will come out, buy some time for the next right-hander to get loose.
Well, you're right. See, the last thing the Cardinals want is base runners. Now you got Biggio, Spires, Bell, Bagwell, Alou. You got the heavy hitters coming up with base runners in front of them. See, the thing he was hoping to do to get out of Croushore when he brought him into the game was maybe he could get Ausmus and Bogart before he got to Biggio, and that would settle him down a little bit. Well, he hasn't been able to do that.
Tony La Russa has Curtis King warming up now. King is really getting loose in a hurry. Croushore faces Biggio. 2 on, nobody out. A 4-run lead in the 7th inning. The Astros haven't scored since their 4-run first.
Get a couple of base hits now and get this thing rolling. Pick up some steam. Get this crowd into the game.
Biggio's 0 for 3.
No.
Ooh, that's a big play by Pagnozzi. That ball bounced way out in front of the plate. He almost started to come up, and the ball just bounced up into his mitt.
Well, you almost have to take a strike in this situation, don't you?
Yes.
I mean, he hasn't even come close.
Very good point. Biggio at .321 with men in scoring position, just about his overall batting average for the year. No drop off. It's 2-0. Now it's going to be hard for the young man to get a call here, Bill.
Yeah.
He's been so wild, and he's not established in the National League.
It looked like he tried to take a little off of that to get it over, and that's the worst thing you can do.
He's 6'4", 210. 2-0 to Biggio. Ooh, he got a call on that one. It's 2 balls, 1 strike. The Astros have been riddling other clubs' bullpens recently. 4 blown saves in the last 6 opportunities to close out games against Houston. It came from behind twice to beat Todd Jones in the 9th inning at Detroit, and they tagged Jeff Shaw with a loss when he had a 2-run lead going to the 9th. Biggio to right field, into the corner. Mabry gallops over, makes the catch. Both runners tag and advance. Throw into second, and Bogart beats it.
Oh boy, that's like a sacrifice bunt.
Well, Mabry, who stayed into the game to play right, has that very good arm, and Bogart really had to get there to second in a hurry to avoid being thrown out.
You know, I didn't think Biggio hit it this well, Bill, but that ball had a lot of carry. Look where he catches it. He's a step on the warning track in the deep corner, and Bogart takes off. And that's the arm you were talking about. That was a close play.
Bogart at second, Ausmus at third, 1 out for Bill Spires. Spires is 1 for 3. Derek Bell on deck. The Cardinals have only one left-handed reliever, Lance Painter.
Oh, good changeup, huh?
It was. Where was that pitch before? There's strike 1. First time he's thrown it. Spires, good clutch hitter lately. Of course, he had 2 very big base hits in Cincinnati off Shaw. One in the 9th and one in the 10th. Here it is again, and it's 0-2 quickly on Spires.
Well, Bill helped him out there as he hitting his helmet a little too eager. This ball not anywhere near the strike zone. 2 big runs out there now. You cut this 4-run lead in half, and anything can happen.
Crawshaw had 30 strikeouts in 22 thirds innings at Memphis. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cardinal bullpen has an ERA of 4.77 with a 12-12 record and 11 blown saves. Takes another one for ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Toughest thing for a young pitcher is getting that 3rd strike. You can get the first 2. Getting the 3rd one against a good hitter is tough. Now, let's see if Pagnozzi now won't call for that changeup again.
He's thrown 4 in a row.
Gonna go away from him.
Fastball, and it's ball 3. Seemingly had him set up for a good fastball, but now it's 3-2.
Yeah, but he hadn't been able to get his fastball over. I think Pagnozzi now is wondering, what do I call that he can throw for a strike?
He might come back with another changeup here.
Yeah.
Fastball clocked at 95.
That was a changeup.
Spires jumped at it.
Yeah. Had it been down in the strike zone, it probably would have been unhittable. He got it up so high that Spires was able to foul it off. Well, I had a scouting report on him that he threw in the low 90s, but if he's throwing 95, he is pumped up.
Change up about 83, 85. Runners at second and third, 1 out. The Astros down by 4, as you see, in the 7th inning.
Only advantage to Billy is he's seen all of his pitches now.
Line drive, foul.
Oh, man. Thought I saw chalk. Well, look at Jose Cruz. He's asking Charlie Relaford now. He says, are you sure? Woo, that was close. Well, like I said, he'd seen all of his pitches. There was the changeup. He was right on it. He pulled it down the line. There's Relaford. Man, I can't tell from there.
No.
Boy, he wanted that. Boy, you'd had a runner on second. 2 runs in.
Close call. Spires ripped it. He's had a long battle. He thought he had a 2-run double. 3-2 the count. Strike 3 call. He came back with that changeup, and boy, it didn't move.
Really has a lot of action on it. See, Spires flinches right here thinking it's going to be a ball, and it came back and caught the inside part of the plate. That's a screwball, Bill. That's what that is. That's not a changeup. That's a screwball. Watch the action on this. That's just like a left-hander throwing a screwgee. A lot of action on that. You don't see many right-handers who can throw that pitch.
No.
That's a screwball's a left-hander's pitch for the most part.
Well, Pagnazzi has gone to it, and it's really helping him out of this jam here. Derek Bell next. Bell's 2 for 3. Good fastball hitter, so we might see more changeups called here. Jeff Bagwell on deck. Crawshaw working the 7th with a 4-run advantage. That's strike 1. Earlier, he couldn't hit the fastball over. Now Pagnazzi is really an important influence on him here.
It really is. He's been out to visit with him a couple of times, and that's where it's so helpful to have a veteran catcher, especially when you've got a young pitching staff like the Cardinals.
It's 0-2 to Bell.
He's got a lot of movement on his pitches when he can get them close to the plate. Oh, what a big call on that foul ball.
Very big. And the call, 3rd strike. 0-2. Bell fouls it away. No balls and 2 strikes to Derek. Apparently that pitch is a split finger fastball from what we're seeing on the inside game, Bill. Which would explain some of that late movement.
Yeah. No, he went around.
Struck him out in the 7th inning. No runs, a hit, 2 left for Houston after 7, 8-4 St. Louis.
The Astros 8-4 as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Here is tonight's Associates Trivia question. This pitcher hit home runs in 6 of his 56 shutouts. A big league record. Who is it? Warren Spahn?
Warren Spahn? Okay, let's go with Warren.
I'd guess Warren Spahn.
Reggie Harris getting loose. It's an 8-4 Cardinal lead. They're coming up in the 8th inning.
I think of anybody else that had that many shutouts.
No.
Huh? Tony Cloninger was a good hitting pitcher. There's no way he had that many.
Yeah, we'll go with Warren. Harris had a 1-2-3 7th inning. Top of the order for the Redbirds now in the 8th. Clayton, DeShields, and McGuire for a club with 8 runs on 10 hits and no errors. Cardinals have received 2 long balls, a 3-run shot by Gaetti, 2-run homer by Jordan. They also have 4 doubles in this game. Clayton has one of those doubles and also a walk. There's strike 1 to Royce Clayton. Cubs lost earlier today 11-2 to Milwaukee. Steve Traxel, the loser. The winner of this game gains on Chicago. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2-0 shutout for the Mets over Montreal. Al Leiter going to 8-3. That was a 5-hitter for Leiter, beating Dustin Hermanson. Chopped on 1 hop to Spires. Clayton is out number 1.
All right, what did you guess at home on that trivia question? This pitcher hit home runs in 6 of his. Bob Gibson.
Bob Gibson, of course, the Cardinal.
All right, and tonight's ticket giveaway winner is Don Martin from Woodward, Oklahoma. Fans, watch for your chance to win Astros tickets. Compliments of the associates.
Lino to Shields, a long ball to right. Line drive homer for DeShields, the third homer of the night for St. Louis, his third of the season, and it's 9-4.
Everybody getting into the act except the big redhead.
It just reinforces what Tony La Russa was saying before this game about the several other talented players on his club.
Well, Bill, there's no doubt from top to bottom the Cardinals are as talented as anybody in the division. But it shows you how important pitching is. It also shows you how important, one guy can make the difference in basketball. We've seen that with Michael Jordan. We've seen it with Hakeem Olajuwon. But in baseball, one guy can't make the difference.
DeShields makes it a 5-run lead.
Unless maybe he's a pitcher and can go out there. Oops.
2-0 to McGuire. By the way, McGuire has only been hit by a pitch once all season.
Well, you don't want to make him mad, number one. Who wants that guy running out to the mound? Not me. You know why the Cardinals didn't get mad? It was a breaking pitch.
Yeah, it just slipped out of his hand.
Slipped out of his hand. Had it been a fastball, might have been a different deal.
2-1 to McGuire. Everything stops when he bats. 2-2. Folks headed for the concession stands, turn around and come back.
Yeah, you don't do a big business when he's up at the plate. That's the same pitch.
The off-speed pitch.
It's like a palm ball or something, just slips out of his hand.
3 balls and 2 strikes. It's a big red. He struck him out. McGuire is 0 for 3 with 2 walks, 2 runs scored.
Didn't look like he wanted to take another walk. He was swinging on this one. Watch where the location is. That's outside. That's probably going to be ball 4, but it didn't look like he was particularly interested. And look at the aisles filling up after that strikeout. I mean, it looked like somebody yelled fire. Huh? Where's everybody going?
The McGuire show's over. Ryan Jordan takes strike 1.
Look at there they go. Bye. See you later. This is when you hope the Astros could rally in. 9th inning.
Jordan has one of the home runs tonight. Fly ball left center field. A hanger. Alou and Clark running. And whoa! Clark. They almost collided. Clark caught it. 1 run, 1 hit. DeShields goes deep to make it 9-4 Redbirds.
Nine to 4 Cardinals, the bottom of the 8th inning, and Tuesday, June 23rd, the Astros and the Twins will play at 12:35. And if your children attend daycare and the activity director is looking for a great summer treat, we've got one. Half-priced upper deck seats for as low as $2.50 for kids and a chance to run the bases after the game. Call 713-799-9567 for information. Deadline for ordering is Friday. Man, that is a good idea.
Sure it is. 9-4 lead for Rick Crawshaw. This will be his 2nd inning of work. He gave up a hit and a walk to the first 2 batters, then he got the next 3 in the 7th inning. Jeff Bagwell's 1 for 3. Fastball, strike 1 call to Bagwell. Big Bob Scanlon getting loose in the Houston bullpen. Cardinals have banged out 11 hits, including 3 home runs. Brian Hunter's in left field. Clayton. There's 1 out.
Hey, that's a nice pitch. Crawshaw has that changeup. Has a lot of downward movement on it. Of course, I think in order to throw it, he's going to have to get his fastball over and spot that a little better. He's got a nice live arm.
He really does. Moises Alou's 1 for 3. Arizona beat Cincinnati 5-1. Omar Dahl the winner over Pete Harnisch. There's ball 1. The Pete Harnisch sweepstakes continuing in Cincinnati. Scouts have been watching him the last several starts. Reds made another trade today. Popped up to Shields out in shallow right in front of Mabry. 2 outs. The Reds made a trade with Cleveland, getting left-handed pitcher Rick Krivda. Wonder if that might mean they would be willing to part with Harnish and put Krivda in his spot in the rotation and try to get prospects.
Cincinnati could be doing a lot of that in the next few months.
That's the way it would appear. Dave Clark's 0 for 2 with a walk, so Harnish may not be taking his next start here Sunday against the Astros.
How do you feel about the Astros looking for some pitching?
Yeah, they have been looking. There's ball one. They've been running into the same roadblock many other clubs have. The Cardinals, too, have been in a feverish search, but the price is too high. That's what a lot of general managers are saying right now. Ooh, there's that split finger pitch again. 1 ball and 1 strike to Clark.
Well, Bill, if the Cardinals get back in the race, and you have to figure they will, I think they can. If they can hang within 8 or 7 games and then they get their good starting pitching back after the All-Star break, I think the Astros may have to have one more arm.
They might have to. 2-1.
Especially in the bullpen.
It could be Chris Holt. Jerry Hunsaker has certainly kept advised on Holt's progress. Watched him throw the simulated game, or the bullpen rather, in Cincinnati. Simulated game is rained out. 3-1. Holt will throw another simulated game here on this homestand, then maybe another one. If things continue to go well, he'll begin a minor league rehab assignment. They don't look for him until after the All-Star break.
About the same time the Cardinals will get their guys back. What about Jose Cabrera?
Well, he's not close. There's ball 4 to Clark, but they could really use him in the bullpen.
Score a free poster of the legendary Pepsi all-time greatest Texas high school football team. To order by mail, send a UPC symbol proof of purchase or register receipt from any Pepsi 12-pack to the address on the screen. Hurry, the offer ends soon.
J.R. Phillips is the pinch hitter now for Reggie Harris. Bob Scanlon in the bullpen. Harris went 2 innings. Phillips delivered a pinch home run, a 3-run shot last night in the 9th inning against lefty Gabe White at Cincinnati. He's driven in 5 this year. There's ball 1 to JR. It was the first pinch hit homer by an Astro this year. Harris with 2 innings, allowed 1 hit, 1 run with no walks and a strikeout. Scanlon will pitch the 9th. One ball and 1 strike to JR.
He's got a good pitch to throw to left-handed hitters, doesn't he? Because that ball really comes in off their shoulder and it moves quite a bit. I think he had to settle down. He was so pumped up when he first came in, he couldn't find the plate.
Yeah, you're right. Pagnazzi, a very good influence too on a young pitcher. 1-2 to J.R. Phillips. Pirates are trying to gain ground on the Astros. They lead at Philadelphia 7-1 in the 7th inning. Doug Glanville of the Phillies extended his hitting streak to 16 games. Roland and Francona ejected.
Well, Glanville is a nice player.
He really is.
He's right there with Biggio, getting on base and scoring runs. That's a nice little Philly team.
That team might be able to make a run at the Mets if Carlton Lower continues to pitch the way he did in his debut. Atlanta shut out Florida 7-0. Delino to Shields waiting underneath this pop-up to retire Phillips and end the Astros 8th. No runs, no hits, a man left. Crawshore has pitched 2 scoreless. It's 9-4 Cardinals.
Cardinals got out the big bats here tonight. We go to the top of the 9th. Monday, June 22nd, the Astros will play the Twins at 7:05, and that's the next Coke Value Day. And you can purchase 4 load seats, 4 hot dogs, 4 Cokes, and 2 Astros hats, all for just $40. Tickets are available on the day of the game only at the Astrodome box office.
Bob Scanlon is pitcher number 4 for Houston. The Cardinals lead at 9-4. The 9th inning begins with Tom Pagnazzi batting. Pagnazzi gets a double and a sac fly. Bagwell. 1 pitch, 1 out for Scanlon. Scanlon worked one inning last night and closed out the 13-2 win in Cincinnati. He's 0-1 for the year and a 3.86 ERA for 21 games. He pitched 3 times on the last road trip. Faces Gary Gaetti. Gaetti delivered a 3-run blast in the first inning. He also had a double in the 5th and scored. Strike 1 on a slider from Scanlon to Gaetti.
Cardinals have their youth movement with Willie McGee on deck. Gaetti and Willie McGee. It's about, what, 40 years of experience?
Line drive to left. Yeah, base hit for Gaetti. That's his 3rd hit.
Well, Gaetti was a #1 draft choice of Minnesota, what, 1979. You just don't see many guys still around playing major roles in their clubs when they were drafted in the 70s.
No, you do not. Now Willie McGee will be the pinch hitter for Rick Crawshaw, who worked 2 scoreless innings, giving up 1 hit and walking 2. Crawshaw had a couple strikeouts as well. Pinch runner coming in, David Howard for Gary Gaetti. McGee continues to be productive as a hitter. 302 his average, 1 homer and 21 runs batted in for Willie. Longtime Cardinal. One of the best trades they ever made. Willie McGee from the Yankees for Bob Sykes back in '81.
Well, I'll say.
Strike 1 to McGee. He hit 300 again last year. .298 career hitter. Bill, 2009 games.
Amazing. You know, he also led the league while playing for 2 different teams in the National and the American League, and I think he and Harry Walker are the only 2 to ever manage that feat. I mean, his records go on and on. This guy can hit.
He started 22 games and he's hitting 17 of those. 2 balls and a strike to Willie. He's 39 now.
Keeps thinking about retiring every year, but they keep bringing him back.
Gaetti's 39 also.
Yeah, I knew it was around 40.
Yeah.
40 years of experience.
Right. 2-2. And McGee had 300 at bats last year. He's a very good 4th outfielder. Play for about that much time, or perhaps a little bit less.
Well, wasn't it the Cardinals got Lou Brock for Ernie Broglio?
Yes.
And then you mentioned Willie McGee, so that's 2 pretty good outfielders the Cardinals picked up in trades way back when.
Yes. Both outstanding deals for the Redbirds, both leading to World Series.
Yep.
And just great ball players. McGee has well over 2,000 hits for his career.
You know, he had that bad Achilles tendon tear in '94. Look at it. Look at him hit.
That's a foul ball, but almost an extra base hit for McGee.
You see how he slapped it? He just took that pitch and slapped it down the left field line. That's why he's so hard to pitch to. And I think one of the things that's always intrigued me about Willie McGee, you make him look so bad on some pitches. Now there's the call. Boom, right there, just foul. You can make him look so bad, and I don't know whether he does it sometimes on purpose, but then a pitcher will come back with that pitch about 2 or 3 pitches later. McGee will hit it hard. So it's almost like he sets a pitcher up.
He swings at that pitch in the dirt and strikes out. McGee is out number 2.
Southwestern Bell. Call notes, voicemail invites you to hit the beach on Bags and Bell. You can win a trip to the Astros series in San Diego. Compliments of Jeff Bagwell. To register and for complete contest rules, log on to www.astros.com. This is a new contest, and obviously I had not read the copy.
No, but we know
prior to this.
We know you'll be logging on, though, Bill.
Yes, I will.
On your computer you're about to buy.
Is it on my typewriter?
There's ball 1 to Brian Hunter.
It's interesting. I'll have to. I'm in the process now of trying to pick one out.
You've been in that process for about 20 years now. 2 balls and no strikes.
Oh, Bill.
You know, those computers are not the ones that take up rooms and rooms anymore, Bill. You can get the portable, the laptop, in fact.
Yes, I know.
Take it right out there and use it for Golf, Texas. There's a line drive to Bill Spires.
I need a club I can hit.
Top of the ninth inning. No runs, a hit, and a man left. Bottom of the ninth coming. 9-4 Cardinals. Houston Astros baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, Discover Card, Hoover, The Associates, Southwestern Bell, and by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. John Frascatore comes in with a 9-4 lead. Cardinals go to pitcher number 3 of the night to work the ninth inning. He's a hard throwing right-hander with a 1-2 record, a 4.53 ERA for 30 games so far, Bill.
Well, he leads the staff in appearances this season. He's a workhorse. Among the league leaders in relief ERA last season, finished 5th with a 2.47 ERA.
Whoa, there's the fastball to ball 1. Osmus is 2 for 3 with an RBI. David Howard stays in to play third base for Gary Gaetti after pinch running for him. 5-run lead, and the Astros haven't scored since the first.
This guy was a 24th round selection by the Cardinals. As you take a look at Brad Osmus.
Bogar on deck. Slider makes it 1-2 to Osmus. And he must have developed some more arm strength along the way, Bill. 24th rounder usually throws not so hard compared to the first and second rounders.
Yeah, but they can pump you up now. You just have to keep after it. A lot of times a pitcher, you just don't know about a pitcher.
He fanned 58 and 80 innings for St. Louis last year, had a low ERA. Osmus to center field. Jordan.
Boy, he covers a lot of ground. Well, here's tonight's Hoover pickup of the game, and it was the last inning as you watch Billy Spires go to work. That line shot, got right down on his knees and made the catch.
Tim Bogar's the batter. Bogar grounded out in the 4th, walked in the 7th inning. The Astros had a glimmer there when Osmus singled and Bogar walked in the 7th. There's strike 1 to Bogar, but then the next 3 went down. Rick Crawshaw got tough, started working on the split finger fastball. Frascatore has a 1-1 count on Bogar. Frascatore, 28 years old. He was in 59 ball games last year for St. Louis.
I think the Cardinals were hoping, Bill, that he'd become a closer for them.
Jordan going for this one. 2 outs.
Oh, yeah, if you got a Jordan in center field, you just try to let him hit it. Don't go away, because coming up after the game on Fox Sports News Primetime, we'll have coverage of the Stanley Cup. Is it over? Bulls on parade. They had a big parade downtown, and we'll have a preview of the U.S. Open. That starts Thursday at the Olympic Club.
Greg Biggio is 0 for 4. That's unusual. Has not reached base in this game, even by a walk. Ball 1 to Biggio. Round 1 of this season series, it appears, is about to go to St. Louis. High chop for Biggio, goes foul.
Bill, I don't have the record right here in front of me, but it just seems like the Astros usually lose the first game of a series this year. They haven't played particularly well in the first game of series, but they've come back to win and take the series later.
Well, they've had good starting pitching, and that's allowed them to regroup after a loss.
But if you're the road team like the Cardinals are, you love to get that first one.
Absolutely.
Because Stottlemyre going tomorrow night, this was one I'm sure that Tony was hoping he could steal tonight with his ace going in game 2.
Biggio to center. Jordan handles all 3 outs in the 9th inning. Cardinals, who are only 15-23 on the road with this win, get it 9-4. So they take the first of the 12 games with the Astros here in '98. Tony La Russa's club has shaved 1 game off the Houston lead, which is now 8.5 over St. Louis. Still a long way to go, but La Russa's club can feel that if it can get some pitching back healthy again, the way Big Red, Mark McGwire and company are going, they can be a team that can win this division. And McGwire in this game was 0 for 3 with 2 walks. So La Russa found the other weapons to be very useful in a 12-hit attack. Bill.
Well, it is a terrific lineup the Cardinals have out there. Clayton and DeShields can set the table. Then you got McGwire, Jordan, Pagnozzi. Gant hasn't been able to get started this year, but Gaetti picked him up tonight. Hunter has played well. The pitching has been the only question mark for this Cardinal team, and the bats got them far enough ahead tonight where they didn't have to worry about that. The Astros had a couple of chances, Bill, in the middle innings to get back into the game, but couldn't come up with a big hit. So I think exactly what Tony wanted to do was to try to steal this game #1 with Todd Stottlemyre going tomorrow night. So he has a good chance to get 2 out of 3 here.
7 walks by Pete Shurik, helping the Cardinal cause. They win it. 9 runs, 12 hits, no errors. Juan Acevedo 2-1 the winner. The Astros 4 runs, 8 hits, and no errors. And the loser is Pete Shurik. He goes to 3-5. 34,822 tickets sold. Gary Gaetti hit 1 of 3 homers, and the Cardinals won it 9-4. For Bill Worrell and Milo Hamilton, Bill Brown saying so long from the Astrodome. Cardinals win it by 5. Be sure to join us again tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. The Astros take on the Cardinals in Game 2 of this 3-game series. Stay right here. Fox Sports News Prime Time is coming up next. You've been watching Houston Astros baseball coverage on Fox Sports Southwest, your home of Fox Sports Net.